Hello, good morning. Get the sleep out of your eyes and get your butt in front of the TV, because it is time for our second day of the Legend stage here at IEM Katowice 2019, round 3. Already we had our fair share of best of 116 played across 2 streams running simultaneously. It was a busy one and ended a couple of hours ago, but it's good to have you back. I'm your host, Machine, and I'm joined by your casters for the first set here on the A stream.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of got a bit of a talk.
It's fine, I'm not important. It's all about Henry. He's the prince and the pauper. It's fine.
Oh, yes, Sadokist and Henry G, if you are unfamiliar, you're commentators who get nice and loud and sometimes proud about the Counter-Strike.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, gents, I think I just want to quickly recap, for those that perhaps missed yesterday, the Legend stage, there was a couple of big conversations.
Yeah. Some
teams delivering on an unprecedented level. I mean, I think Renegades is at the tip of my tongue just because they've done it again, Henry. Challenger stage, we saw them do it. You surely didn't have the same kind of expectations of surprise coming into Legends?
I'm not on the hype train just yet. For some reason, I don't know why.
I just feel like,
win? No, I get it. Like, it's so exciting, and it's great they pulled that result off. You have to remember, so many of these teams are rebuilding. We're kind of seeing them kind of come back to the level they once were at. I feel like FaZe is still in that kind of development phase right now. But overall, yes, Renegades, unbelievable the fact they actually got these results and taking down big names. It's taken a couple of years, but they finally got there, and it's exciting.
Astralis, of course, going to be their opponent for the first round of play here in round 3. Matt, though, MIBR, you guys are going to be jumping into MIBR G2. What on earth is your take on MIBR's performance yesterday?
Yeah, I think talking to them coming into it in some of the interviews, you can't just say water expecting the word to satisfy your thirst. You can't just say you've got communication and then not show anything. Yesterday, they were really off. They did have a good game against Complexity, obviously. Their second half, their T side was great, but I think that also has to do with Complexity struggling on the CT side as much as anything. And obviously starting it off with a 16-3 loss to Cloud9 on Inferno, a map they continue to pick, that's cause for concern. So I'm not fully convinced by MIBR yet.
Yeah.
I still think they'll sneak through to the playoffs, but they're really going to have to pick things up quickly, and that's where Fallen has to show his prowess as an in-game leader and how quickly they can adapt and move forward. I
do miss that Fallen, that MIBR. Now I'm being told I have to quickly throw it to the exciting teaser, and I will. But I have another question. I am sorry, we're going to go over. But Henry, I have to follow up just by asking: the boys from Avangar, criminally underrated by other teams. Did you catch some of their gameplay earlier?
We did, and it is pretty remarkable. The individual talent they have, the 2-star players, Jame and Kicker. For us, we get super hyped when we get to cast those guys. They seem like they're ready to play at this level now. And the fact they had a rough last week in the Challenger stage, I think that would actually help them out. They've developed as a team as it goes on. They're looking very efficient and very powerful.
Yeah, I think they were criminally underrated. The fact that they were that far down, they got 2 hard games, beating NRG, that's kind of reset them in the seedings. I think ENCE was overrated. I think Big was overrated. And I think Avangar was the dark horse because of that. But they had to make it through one of the best of ones to reset their seed. Now they can actually make it through.
They tested Liquid. They picked up the win. I don't want to double check who it was against. So it was NRG. NRG on Overpass. Their next game, FaZe. Let's not forget that's a FaZe Henry's just said, looking a bit weak. You've got a lot to look forward to today from you guys watching at home. But let's get day 2 started of the Legends stage.
The players that are here, they all know what they are playing for. They all know that this stadium makes legends. So when all of us here grow older and our children grow older, we'll tell them about how it all began. We'll tell them a story about how modern Counter-Strike was born in this arena.
Every Counter-Strike fan starts to gather, whether it's at home on the sofa at the PC or here in the Spodek. We are the generation that has seen esports in its humble beginnings. You are the people who found esports, drove esports, and believed in it. Hello, welcome. I'm at the desk now, and we are going to be jumping into this one. I was expecting more, I don't know why. Of course, this is the Acer Predator pre-show. I'm your host, Alex Machine Richardson. I am joined by two of the brightest in the game. We do have Chad Sponge Birchall and Sean Gares. Gentlemen, it's time to talk about your favorite video game again. You up for it, Chad?
Yeah, good afternoon. Just quickly, do you think I undo this button?
Let me see.
And go like this? Or do you think I go just back?
Look, okay.
Maybe just go
I actually think, no, keep kidding. I think that's the look, because now you and Sean's seductive Deep V are in sync.
Sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fine. I don't know
talking
how
of
see my Deep V.
Deep V's, V for victory, vitality. There we go.
That's a segue.
That's a segue. Let's start concentrating a little bit on them, because this is a French team that did battle through from the open qualifiers. Perhaps a bit of a repeated story at this point, because their success is not as much of a surprise due to the names in attendance, but this is still quite the run they've been having. The fourth open qualifier, the 4 times the charm, then the challenger, now the legends, and now picking up close games versus the likes of Na'Vi.
I think it's important to reiterate the fact they had to go through the open qualifiers, because that shows you how far the likes of Apex, MBK, and RPK have fallen. Now, when we saw them play yesterday against Na'Vi going triple overtime, this was fantastic signs, because they were playing a well-rounded style of CS. And it wasn't just on the back of ZywOo carrying them. Actually, Apex has been having a fantastic tournament thus far. He's the 4th highest rated player, so it's really positive signs, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Apex, and actually in the previous stage, we have NBK playing lights out Counter-Strike. Obviously, that didn't carry through to yesterday. Yeah. But I'm super surprised at how well they played against Na'Vi. They dropped both pistols in that game. They found themselves with a chance to still win in overtime.
The 5v3.
The 5v3.
That is going to haunt you for a very long time.
And there was some nonsense in there. NBK's 1v3 by someone dropping a nade as they died. I mean, it was chaos.
That was a cool round.
Crazy stuff. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and help explain this for those of you that haven't been able to keep up with the Vitality storyline, but taking a look at their road to the Legends stage.
It's been a long road. I think that's the main thing. Making it to the Legends, to the Legends stage, because we're not Legends yet, is a pretty big step, because now we're 1 game away from securing our spot to the next major, and especially after coming from the 4th open qualifier in Europe and finally making it here, back in the top 16 teams. Not really surreal, but we're not done yet. We want more.
Deep into the site and getting all that map control over. Look at ZywOo. He's still holding the angle. That's beautiful. Joking goes down. He's going to go for no. Now ZywOo stepping up, and he's got a 3rd headshot as well. All 4 kills.
I think at this stage, everybody was extremely well prepared, and a lot of surprises, and the results speak by themselves, right? But for us, I know we just managed to grow each and every game. That's the most important thing, because we started very slow, losing against Tidal in a pretty bad way. And then after that second half against Greyhounds, we managed to just put it together. He gave us some confidence to, again, step up when we needed it. And then Beachy was a very good game, because even when we were pushed to our limits, we managed to come back and to keep ourselves together and take it round after round. And that's very, very important for a team to go on and win tournaments, right? You need to take it step by step and not rush things, and that's what we did. So we grinded that win out, and now we got to get better for the next stage.
That game versus Na'Vi, we've touched on it. I think we continue to explore it, because Vitality, they did pick up a win versus Big. Solid performance to start them off, and I think Big plan a conversation in their own right. But Na'Vi, the first question, before we can understand truly how to gauge Vitality, we have to have a quick touch on what Na'Vi they were playing against.
There was 2 thought processes with Na'Vi, at least in my mind, coming into this tournament. The first was they're still a bickering couple that's going to fall apart after this tournament, and it's done and dusted for that CIS roster, or they're doing some of the best sandbagging that we have ever seen in Counter-Strike, And if you
They got 2 wins, Chad.
Yeah,
you can see it there on the right.
If you read Symbol's interview with HLTV.org, it alludes to potentially, you know, maybe a bit of mischievousness with the press.
He can't be. I mean, that's next level.
So ridiculous.
I know, but I hope it's true.
But when you watch them, they look like the same old Navi, right? The same electronic showing up, the same simple showing up, the same slow-paced mid-controls into site splits. So nothing's really changed when you watch them.
They have had a couple of adjustments, especially on Inferno. I saw Zeus was now playing that B-bomb site on a bit more of a permanent basis. So slight adjustments, which means they have been continuing to work and maybe plug the holes that they have. And they're going to need a deep map pool because once they have to go up against the big dogs, like today against the Liquid, they're going to need to show more than a Mirage or an Inferno.
Yeah, the big dogs. I mean, I want to talk about the British Bulldog, actually. Alex, he managed to perform for Vitality, and a lot of people have been wondering whether it's A, pressure, B, inexperience that were costing him a lot of frags here at the Major, but he managed to keep himself well and truly at the top of the scoreboard throughout a tough slog versus Na'Vi. But this is what we want to talk about now. With it up on screens, guys, what's jumping off the page? Start with you, Sean.
Oof, what's jumping off of the page to me has to be Renegades. Still being undefeated in this major run.
Wow.
Obviously, I mean, 3-0 in the previous stage, now 2-0 here. Yeah. They're going up against Astralis today, though.
It's okay, sure. They get a free swing, right? They get to step into the ring against Muhammad Ali, and he says, just hit me however you want, because they have nothing to lose in that matchup. They've already proved themselves. They've already proved the fact that they can take it to the upper echelon of teams by defeating FaZe. Now, a best of 3 against a team like Astralis, and they have to ban Overpass, means we're likely going to see them go up on Nuke. It's not going to be a fun time for
what's the record?
Today.
28 undefeated, a year undefeated?
It's getting pretty grim for anybody who doesn't want to ban that map.
Yeah, we'll definitely continue to check that out when we get to it. But just casting your eyes over what's coming up here in the swing matches as well. MIBR G2 is going to be first on the A stream, so keep your eyes on that one. I'm intrigued to see how that shapes up. We'll, of course, talk about it momentarily. I actually have fears for the likes of Hellraisers. So we had a big performance from NIP yesterday versus Liquid, or at least that's my take on it. What's yours? I mean, they did look like an NIP that were pushing a Team Liquid you had expectations for.
I think that they're playing, you know, the type of CS that they have to. You know, they're winning the rounds that they should. Yeah. They're not having too many crazy clutch rounds. They're not having massive swing rounds going in their favor. In that Liquid game yesterday, those rounds seemed to go in Liquid's favor. Yeah. So NIP, they're playing to their level, I think, and that's a positive sign because their level is a top 8 team.
And what level is MIBR? Another question we're going to be talking about here at the desk. In fact, perhaps we'll get some answers. They struggled in their opening game. I want to make sure I get this right. 16-3 loss versus the Cloud9 boys, of course, from the Challenger stage, and a win versus Complexity with a solid second half. It's Zeus standing by with Frankie.
I'm here with Zeus, who is the coach of MIBR, and I'm intrigued to know why you decided to make the swap from Liquid to this classic roster.
A lot of history between us. And in Liquid, I made some beautiful history. They took me in, they took Taco in really well. I love the organization, the players, everyone there. But in the end, after 2 years living by myself in the United States, I just wanted to be reunited with family. And MIBR, the players there, we made history together. We moved here with nothing together, and we accomplished everything. And there's just too much history there to be denied. And I feel since these are the people I'm going to spend 360 days a year with, might as well do it with the people who I consider my brothers.
And as you say, you made a massive impact with Liquid. So what's the plan with this newly reformed roster?
For MIBR now, we want to make history again. We never want anything less. We're practicing a lot. The results yesterday didn't show it, unfortunately, but it's kind of due to us being 3 months without playing a tournament. We did put pressures on ourselves because this is a legendary roster, even in our minds. But day by day, every match, we get a little bit better.
Well, let's knuckle down and talk about those matches then. Quite a slow play style for the team, not quite as aggressive as we're used to seeing them.
Yeah, actually, it reminded a lot of MIBR from actually last year, the 2015 second rounds. That just showed how nervous we were. That isn't our play style anymore, not entirely. We mixed it up a lot, but you kind of fall back into bad habits when you get caught off guard, and that's what happened. Cloud9 surprised us in the key rounds, broke our economy, and shook us up a bit, and we just fell into bad habits. Can't let that happen.
And people watching the A stream didn't see your match against Complexity yesterday, so talk me through what happened there.
Against Complexity, we didn't have an amazing match either. We had a lot of mistakes on our CT side, leading to only 8-7 half. After that, we started to get a little bit better, a little bit faster, like you said, in our play style. We started surprising them, won the crucial rounds that we needed. The players actually started making the plays that they're supposed to, and we finished off at 16-9, I think.
So give me your prediction then for the result against G2 today then.
Hope to win. 16-5, 16-6, I don't care. 16-0 or 14, it doesn't matter. We just need to win. But if we play our game, we know we can stomp them.
Can't wait to see you play your game. Let's head back to the desk.
It's good to have Zeus back on our screens in an MIBR jersey. I feel like there's a lot to take away from that. This more of a human aspect from that interview, the sense of I'm spending 360 days a year with this team. I'd rather do it with the people that I consider my family, my brothers. I mean, I get that. And it's a team that, of course, have achieved ridiculous things in Counter-Strike, Sean.
Yeah, Zeus has always been very vocal about how much he wants his teams to practice, how much effort he wants to put into the game. Yeah. And he had that in the previous Brazilian lineups he's been a part of, which is why he was probably gravitating back into this lineup.
Can't blame him. Can't blame him. I want to continue. Sorry, Chad, I'm not cutting you off, but we are going to continue that conversation because MIBR are up first versus G2. Zeus says it could be a 16-5, but all he wants is the win. We'll see what G2 and our analysts have to say all about all of that after our break.
The champions of ESL 1 Cologne.
Do you remember?
Welcome to the Cathedral of Counter-Strike.
Think you've seen it all?
Are you ready to be a part of Counter-Strike history?
ESL 1 returns to Cologne in 2019.
Think you can't capture a clutch in full resolution while streaming the play to the world? Watch this. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
The synergy of brute strength, born of elite core power, to thrive under pressure in the most hostile conditions, and built to overclock. Prepare for combat. Go forth and conquer. Every frag, every moment. I run, but I never hide. With knowledge comes power, and power is to be wielded wisely. Which is why, as the expert, I bet with Betway. If you know CSGO, then you'll know the best way to bet on esports is with Betway, for the love of the game.
Intel Extreme Masters is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, Acer Predator, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Round 3 of our Legends stage here and the second day of IEM Katowice 2019. It's the major. We start Counter-Strike year with a big one. The Spodek awaits, but for who? G2 and MIBR are next up on the chopping block. One win, one loss, and one rather harrowing loss for MIBR. Before the break, we heard Zeus talking about why he moved and explaining a little bit as to what's going on in the inner workings of the team, perhaps suggesting a loss of confidence at the moment once they've got those 5 back together. High expectations. We'll see if our analysts have the same. We do have Chad Sponge Birchall and Sean Gares with myself, Machine. High expectations, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Looking at the way other teams ranked them, how we've ranked them, who's put them in their pick'em. I'm looking at you and me. it wasn't the best start. It wasn't the most telling start for MIBR.
Not by any means. And all the excuses have to go out the window. I'm not saying they make excuses for themselves, but ones that we set for analysts from behind the scenes, like communication. That's no longer an element that they have to worry about. This team has already been successful in the past. Now, you look to them going back to this roster, bringing Zeus back in. To me, this reminds me that they're going back to the culture of success where they found it before. But the question mark is, has that bar shifted now? Because Astralis have definitely raised it. Can it just be as simple of, 5 guys who have a really good relationship with each other? Does it have to be a change in mentality outside of that?
They were fraggers too.
But you look at G2 though. G2 have 2 players, Kenny S and Shox, previous major winners, who have been humbled, who have been pushed all the way down to the doldrums, who have failed, and now they've had to rebuild rosters, and they have to go in a different pattern. They can't continue doing the same thing.
I actually saw Vitality's Apex take to Twitter as well to praise Kenny S for his individual performance, saying it's good to see Kenny playing that way again. And I will definitely be diving into what we expect from Kenny and G2, of course, taking on MIBR. But first, while we're on the topic, why don't we learn a little more about MIBR?
Made in Brazil's problems in 2018 were numerous and complicated. They were unable to secure any of the big trophies on the circuit. 2019 sees their team returning to their roots in many respects, bringing back in Taco and Phelps to recreate their strong 2017 lineup, but with the twist of 2016 coach Zeus returning to the ranks. MIBR want to wind back the clock to the days when their team was one of Counter-Strike's most clutch performers, always capable of battling back into any game and infamous for breaking opponents' hearts in close matches. Former best player in the world coldzera hopes this will be the lineup to again provide him the vehicle from which to dominate.
And they are made in Brazil now, of course. Let's not forget the likes of Taco must be thriving in this environment of, hey, back to Portuguese.
We have to check with Tommy that we can call them made in Brazil, though.
I mean, sure, MIBR. I'm sorry, I'll do it properly. But Sean, either way, names aside, it's good to have Taco back in the roster.
It is. It's very good to have Taco back. I think he's one of the best bomb site anchor / support players we have in the game. He plays such a selfless style of Counter-Strike. But honestly, MIBR needs more than Taco to come up big. They need more than Phelps. Fallen has really kind of fell off so far this tournament. He's the 4th worst performer so far in this stage, and they can't have that out of their star AWP player.
I think if you look at that Cloud9 game, right, the fact of the matter is they were finding territory in the mid-rounds. They were able to get mid-control, they were able to get banana control, but it felt like nobody wanted to take ownership of the situation. If you're going to play that default style of CS where you're aiming for picks, once you get to a certain point, somebody needs to pull the trigger, somebody needs to make the call, because you're just going to be stuck in limbo. 20 to 15 seconds to execute onto a bomb site, it's not enough time when a team's holding onto utility like Cloud9 were.
Certainly not, and we'll take out which map they're going to be holding utility on. It will be Inferno, famed for the success of holding utility as well, Chad. That works.
So I guess we can now look at what we saw from G2 yesterday.
Yeah, I think we have to.
They had a lot of good executes, right? They were able to get into bomb sites. They just weren't able to get anything done from there.
See, I actually think they got bullied by Na'Vi yesterday. I think Na'Vi just disrespected them at every turn. Simple was playing so aggressively in middle. Same with Electronic, just looking for eco frags left and right. I don't think Na'Vi ever felt threatened in that game, so I don't know what to expect in this matchup right now, because they both looked flat on Inferno yesterday.
Okay, so 2 flat teams on Inferno. It was, I'm trying to clarify, was the Inferno game, that was the Cloud9 loss,
yes,
right?
16-3.
So they lost 16-3.
And then they came back to it.
To a Cloud9 that got 16-0'd the same day. This is a real pickle.
Yeah, so sure, like if Zeus said they were feeling good in practice and stuff, and they were scared or they started slow or nervous or whatever, then sure, we can factor that in here. But what we've seen so far from MIBR doesn't guarantee them a seed that they've been given, right? It doesn't sell them to me as a top team right now, because they haven't had a chance to prove it. Right now against G2, this is one of the teams that we were thinking to be a whipping boy in this tournament, and now G2 have taken down big earlier in the tournament, so everything's up in the air.
Everything's up in the air and everything is spinning, certainly is over on the stages, because we are going to be getting once again into this one. G2 MIBR taking to the stage right here, right now. Strong team, let's not forget.
my goodness. She has a chance here. This is unbelievable. 1 versus 1 now! That is so sick!
Spicy shot on headshot, and we start to get them in to the arena. And let's not forget, they get a solid upgrade of their stage as soon as they do complete those 3 wins necessary. MIBR first, of course, with their fancy jerseys. But this is a team that we really need to see more from. Our analysts here baffled. I'm sure they are as well. Their coach seemed to be on a similar mind... that's not an expression. Let me think again.
Had a similar mindset.
Mindset. There we are. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Well,
it's too early.
I think that, it is only the best of 1 so far, and this is a chance for them to redeem themselves on Inferno and just show it was the opening best of 1 of the tournament where they got blown out, Alex. So with G2 coming in, this is a team who, towards the end of the Challenger stage, proved their worth on maps like Dust 2 and Cache. But now as we go forward, they have bigger opponents to take on.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. I have to say, I am warming to the concept of G2, Sean. This is a team that, admittedly, they had to work so hard to get out of challenges. 3 map brawls versus Fnatic and Tyloo, who pushed them to their very limits. Individuals like Shox, like Kenny, instrumental factors in getting to the Legends stage. Sweating versus Big, though. I mean, I don't know how much I should read into that. 16-13. Inseparable between the 2 of them, and we have been critical of Big so far.
I actually had a lot of hope for Big coming into this event, but they started playing Mirage, which is a map they didn't play. G2 has looked phenomenal, like you said, ever since, those first 2 maps they played in the previous stage. Ever since they played, Fnatic on those last 2 maps, Tyloo. I didn't think they looked very good against Na'Vi, if I'm being honest, but they have turned around in a significant way.
Well, one of the things that we did note, at least with G2, was against some of the teams they were playing against in the Challenger stage, they had more experience just because of the body, Kenny S, and Shox factor. Well, that goes out the window now. They're the ones with the least experience because they have Lucky and Jax who are new to this level. Now, they're going to need to step up. We have seen the double AWP setup come in from G2, but Inferno is not a map where you can run it as easily on that CT side. You can be punished a lot more with the economy. I'm expecting in this game, especially on the T side for MIBR, a lot more decisiveness for them to be a lot quicker, a lot of higher pace, and to take the fight to G2.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the MIBR we saw yesterday, we will not see again today. They won 3 gun rounds spread out throughout that first half. Their economy was never in a good spot, and they were actually getting map control in a lot of these rounds. It's just small communication breakdowns that cause them to go at incorrect timings. I think we see a much better MIBR here today.
A much better MIBR meeting a much better Kenny S as well, of course, acknowledged by former teammate Apex recently in the social stratosphere. I think Shox as well has been a conversation given how invested he is into this. He has once again been given the responsibility of leadership, and it's been a real kind of tale of success and failure mixed into one big pile of Counter-Strike from Shox. He's been given this leadership intermittently, and have we ever seen him truly thrive under that leader banner?
I think the problem is with Shox, he has so many ideas and he's such a big personality that he probably wrestles the leadership back or undermines any actual in-game leaders that he's had over time. Right. So you look at him in this position and calling all the shots. The problem that comes in is he is the flex player. He's the guy running around doing whatever he wants. It's so difficult to focus on your crosshair while trying to micromanage the rest of your team in that in-game leadership position. So he probably needs somebody to step up as the second in charge to make mid-round calls when, he's not able to do that.
I will say that Shox does do an excellent job of creating executes and things like that for G2 to basically have a safety net to fall back on. Unlike a lot of the other teams here, they have very innovative strats that we've seen. The Cache B bomb site execute comes to mind. They had a couple cool executes yesterday on Inferno. So that kind of stuff for them to fall back on really helps Shox as an in-game leader, in my opinion.
So we've got our checklist. Fallen, we need to see some frag from him. His ADR closing in on 50, not really fragging in his opening gambits with MIBR. Kenny S, of course, his counterpart on the G2 side. We want to see some more strong executes and bringing the fight. Now, that's MIBR you're talking about there, Sean. You want to see MIBR bringing the fight to G2.
I do. I want to see Fallen be aggressive in this first half. We didn't really get to see much out of their CT side yesterday, but in the previous major, we saw so much out of Fallen on that CT side. He was revitalized as an opera, in my opinion, at that major, and we need to see that side of him come here.
Yeah, just the last thing with G2 on those executes, they did have some, good variation, but there was some details missing. There was one on the B-bomb site where they actually did wall smokes and tried to wrap towards CT. Jax actually mollied off his teammates coming through construction, and they lost the round. So they can't have those misplays happen against a team like MIBR here today.
Yeah, let's not forget, of course, new additions to G2 yet to be acknowledged. It is Jax and Lucky. It looks like we're jumping into the pistol. It's time to jump in. A best of one. Inferno again for MIBR versus G2. Henry, Sado, take it away.
Inferno again, you've got to think that might be a problem for them because it certainly wasn't convincing yesterday and they continue to rely on it on the MIBR side. That said, G2, is this the chance that they could actually get a step ahead after a very shaky start to this entire major last week Challenger stage, even now in the new Legends?
We'll have to see, Matthew. Both of these teams suffering a loss here on Inferno. It is going to be G2, though, making their way through Spawn. And I guess we're not actually going to see much here at all. It's just going to be Shoxy who will be holding towards the bottom of middle. Very, very aggressive on the T side as they are shut down completely. It's going to be Phelps that closes things out, and a very fast banana split coming in there from G2. They managed to get towards Spawn. You'd think that's actually a nice point of access towards the bomb side there, but the CT's caught in transition, find every single headshot, and it will be Cold Zero Fallen. Phelps delivering the pain. As we get into the second round here, we are going to see, of course, the force buy from G2. They have found success with this, but no bomb plant means no rifle. It's going to be stuck to just pistols here as they go PD-50 CZ, a couple of smokes and a Molotov. Jax has got the MAC-10, but I'm not sure this is going to be the buy that finds them the round. We will see, though. They are up against 4 MP9s. An interesting approach there from MIBR, just a 1 rifle. That's in the hands of Fallen, and the analysts discuss his struggles recently. Good grenade, though. Doesn't do too much damage.
It's not at all. It's Taco. Tries to work back in toward Banana. Excuse me, toward the apartments. It's further, it's going to rotate off Banana. Smokes down top mid. Body's still waiting on the inside of it. G2 trying to answer back with a force fire of these pistols with armor going against SMGs. Yeah. The fact that they've got the helmets, the MP9s, don't necessarily mean that they'll be able to mow them down cold. He does get one. Taco finds it, but there's the trades. Pistols have just as much potency in terms of movement speed getting inside of the site, and with the range of the MP9, it certainly becomes limited. Phelps gets it much closer now as Shox realizes he can't plant the bomb. They're all over him. They'll finally get him down inside of the site. 3 staying alive. Importantly, so is the AUG.
Another quick approach there from G2, this time focusing towards the A side. They managed to trade out a couple of kills out of the apartments, but that force buy against the MP9s falls flat. Now I'm going to have to take the full eco here. It's going to be 3-0 MIBR. Almost certainly at this stage, G2 can't afford to purchase anything up at this stage of the round. So we'll see them just have Glocks, maybe a Deagle or 2. As let's say Shox and Jax are that way inclined. So their buy will be pretty decent next round, but Kenny S might be limited. Might have to take a few compromises in terms of his full setup with the AWP. We will see as this round comes through. We're expecting a clean sweep for the Brazilians. Shouldn't be too much of an ordeal. The question mark lies in the next round. If they keep all 5 players up here, do they upgrade one of the weapons to an AWP perhaps, or do they hold on to the MP9s and go super aggressive? I would say maybe throw one of them away against the AKs, get the AWP out. Let's get Fallen online. As for now, CT's aggressive as ever. Maybe a little bit too aggressive, Matt.
Maybe so. As Fallen gets 2 more, make it a 3rd. He does hold that AUG in great position, but finally gets caught out by Body. He'll drop down, and that means now they open up B site just for rotating back inside of the angle. Back to the position at the top of CT, and he's got Shox and Body down on entry, so they hold true with the guns. The force buy in the previous round limited G2 significantly. But as you say, what comes out now? What's the call? Fallen goes down after getting 3 kills. He's got 6,100. I think that's rather evident, is it not?
Absolutely. He does bring out the AWP, and it's a classic map for him. MIBR haven't performed in it so far. Yesterday, losing to Cloud9 16-3. They couldn't get going at all, but we'll see if this good start leads to a more successful structure overall. Will they be able to get the nice full buyout here? They are going to keep 2 MP9s. The AWP comes out for Fallen, and I feel like he has to be a little bit more active at the start of the round with the lack of firepower. They're going to be suffering here. Incendiary thrown towards the underpass, and it's Kenny S that gets past. He does actually get the AWP for himself, but like we said, there will be compromises. He has no armor. That's actually quite a big deal on the T side of Inferno. You're very vulnerable to grenades and, of course, the bullets, as they actually get fast mid-control here. CT's in a very passive setup, and it is going to be a quick trade of frags there.
Certainly is. Taco. Smoke to his left inside of the door means that he could have focused toward quad, but elects to back off of it. They will bring Phelps over to support that angle, and he's got the AUG. So he's got the range to his advantage. Kenny can certainly take that range and stuff it right up the window because he's got the AWP. He's going to try and open up toward the pit position, which we know is such a strong position to hold from. If they wrap from quad now, they pinch them in. And you can see that Fallen's still holding on that side. Taco, good peek. 2 with the MP9. That gives Phelps an easy shot towards Shocks. Kenny's rotated around to the apartment hallway instead. Just missed on that. Somehow gets away with it, though. Drops down. How's he missing these? Normally, Kenny's got one of those at least.
Yeah, that's not looking to do good for him. 3 opportunities. Not the easiest of shots, but yes, by Kenny S. standard, at least one of those is connecting. And as you saw, no armor. Very vulnerable to the pistol there, taking down 1 bullet, even after Fur missed a couple of shots. It is going to be 4-0. MIBR looking alive here today. And they've got a double AWP setup going into the next round. Cold Zero recovers Kenny's AWP. So they've got a lot of cash and good foundations going forward as well. You can hear the tactical timeout has been called, I assume, by G2 at this stage, as their money has reached maximum loss bonus, but no real plans coming through. Means they have got a few that can't really fully invest. Body and Kenny could have bought Galil's Kevlar. If they want to get an AK, they wouldn't have helmets, which is actually a big deal on Inferno. And Jax, same story for him as well. So it's just Lucky and Shocks that can bring out the full buys. Will they want to do that? I would say probably wait, considering the way this has gotten so far. Let's not let it spiral out of control and be limited for the rest of the half. Take the partial buy here, have the full buy next round, and actually get Kenny with some armor, get the utility you need, and start running some defaults and some executions. We'll see what the decision is as we get into the next round. They haven't purchased anything yet. They've got 2 seconds left until we enter the next one, and it is going to be the partial buy coming through. So those CZs, Deagles, Mac-10 once again for 2 of the players. Cold Zero knows he has more than enough freedom here to pick towards right down those T steps. No real chance of an AWP on the other side.
Oh my God. Cold was staring at that and still got absolutely wrecked by Kenny. He knows that angle. He's not unfamiliar with standing in that position and trying to get shots down mid.
He's going to get the AWP. Oh, he's done it. Not bad. He's got armor as well.
This is significant. Yeah, armor op. Got head armor on everyone else. If they could perchance get another rifle up to complement the 2 Mac-10s, then they're really onto something. And Kenny goes right back around to the same position, tries to fire into the smoke. Can also start to put a little bit of pressure on Banana at this point in time, something they hadn't done so far in the round, but he can certainly open that up with a single shot toward Fallen. It would be op versus op, but he's got other ideas. Oh my goodness. Who's going to spot the other first? I was going to say, I think Fur would be able to spot the Shin. Nonetheless, it's not a kill. He gets the clip through the wall. Kenny goes down to 28, but Body has Phelps tries to switch over to the AUG, gets caught out by Taco, who now buries himself inside of the site, but around quad they go, and G2 has position. They've got Fur as well. Kenny is opening up the round, 2nd kill, and they know Taco's stuck inside, so Shocks tries to swing. He gets him on the CZ as well.
Here we go, looking much better for G2. That opening 1D from Kenny S has led them to success here on the A site. He manages to recover the AWP. A little bit of a plucky play through the smoke as well, grabs it. Could have been maybe possibly naded back or taken away by the CTs, but couldn't react in time. He grabs it, manages to get a 2nd kill, and then they swarm the A site. Fallen will have no choice but to save the AWP, but MIBR will be fine with that. They know G2 are going to be a dangerous team, and those sort of rounds happen. It's not like they did anything catastrophically wrong. Just a very nice shot from Kenny S, and sometimes there's not much you can do about that.
Fallen still doing damage to keep that AWP up. So they get the 4-0 start. Naturally, Fallen went on to the AWP, but G2 finally respond and get their first T-sided round. It comes on the back of an eco, but a phenomenal deagle shot, it has to be said, to find the opener. To make sure he got the op as well, secured that with a smoke. No one else in position, and Cold was the one that went down. Didn't look too pleased with it. He sits at 4-4, Cold. No one really far and away outreaching any other, but Kenny, those were his first real impact kills. He's only got 3 in the game so far, but how spectacular was that?
Yeah, like I said, Cold Zera, as far as he's aware, they don't have an AWP. That's a safe angle to hit, and a 1D at that range with that angle is incredibly difficult. It's surprising to see Kenny has missed those initial AWP shots we saw in the first gun round, but then goes on to hit those Deagles. So maybe we'll see a little bit more out of him as the game progresses. CTs for now boosting behind the half wall, trying to get vision and take full control of the banana area. You can see Fallen actually boosted on the half wall right now. He's got the AWP. Ideally, they want to get him set up so he can be a solo player. Allow Fur to fall back towards A. He's actually going back towards that side now. It puts a lot of pressure on Fallen, but with the AWP on the half wall, he can take a shot, drop down, and exit safely.
Nade in, that's going to do damage. They're all there. Whoa, that works too.
Before the nade lands?
Yeah, just wrecks him with a double shot. One was a dink, and then the second was a follow-up body shot. M4, obviously. Gotta love that. 2 bullets through a smoke with an M4 and get a kill. It's about as perfect as it gets. Kenny's going to try and make amends with it. He will this time. We saw him miss a few shots toward the pit 2 rounds ago. It was a 1-on-3 situation, but maybe he could have done something with it. This time he pulls it back. The problem is they don't check the cubby. Furs inside of it. Flash, Molotov wants to get himself out of the angle. Hold it for now, maybe. Because with those flames, they won't be able to push through. And if they do, it's tradable. They'd have to go wide to find the cubby position, and then Cold would be immediately on the case.
So Cold is coming to back him up right now. He knows he's stuck in there, so if they focus on his position, they can work together. Nice shot from Fallen. He does exactly what he has to there. He's on the half full. He's got a bit of information. He's legged Lucky and actually fallen back passively to the side. That's going to encourage Fur to rotate. So now it is a 2-on-2 on the ace side. That's what G2 want to finish up here, but they haven't really got the time. 20 seconds. They need Kenny S to get a quick pick here and then make their way towards a bomb site. Both players quite passive on the CT side. Taco waiting in the pit here, just looking to deny the plants. They've already done that by the looks of things. As Lucky goes down, Kenny S tries to escape. Not going to happen. It's a harsh reset, but remember, G2 did win a partial buy before, so they haven't been completely financially ruined. As you can see, a couple of players still there able to invest, but considering they only got 1 kill in the previous round, I would say the force buy not really applicable here. If you had got 2 or 3 kills there, you could really go for the reset, but is it worth it at this point? You're already 5-1 down. You can't really afford to keep throwing rounds away at this stage. We'll see whether they take another tactical timeout, perhaps. This is a best-of-1 environment. Well, and they will.
Yeah, there's one being used right now because you could see Zeus was already being quite vocal, so obviously he'd been unmuted, which can only happen at pre-match, halftime, and during one of the potential 8 tactical timeouts before that they would call.
G2 have only played Inferno twice as a 5. They lost to Na'Vi 16-7 and beat Avangar on it. Decent result against Avangar.
Very, considering that I'm going to say right now, I love underdog stories.
Yeah.
I love when people underrate teams and they show them and prove them wrong. I think Avangar is that team right now. I'm a huge fan. James is spectacular. Kiekert is so damn explosive.
He really is.
And Krizen's been pretty effective at just holding down angles and getting multi-kills. That team's got good ingredients to make a case in this major. Speaking of making a case, how about making a statement down middle? Phelps, again, this time he's not pushed banana. He's gone from mid. I make reference to the last time we saw them play G2 when Phelps was on this lineup and it was catastrophic.
Yes, indeed.
This time they get one at least.
Well, we'll see what can be done. This is the partial buy from G2, but they've managed to win rounds with pistols before. Aggressive again against the lesser weapons. Need to be careful here, but luckily it looks like they'll be okay. They take a couple of dinks and swap over some weapons, give Taco the AWPs. He can play very defensively, but it looks like the round is done. You can see they're all quite low as they make their way in towards B. And there's going to be a flashbang coming in the air from Fur, but he's still vulnerable here as he will go down. This could yield a bomb plant. We shall see. Fallen can't really commit to this, but Grenade looks decent. Might be able to follow up with a frag. It doesn't quite connect, but look how low they are. Shouldn't be a world where MIBR give this round up, but all of a sudden it turns on his head. How has Lucky managed to hit that shot with such low HP? And now Taco with the AWP, he has to wait for his teammate to go in first.
Certainly does. Cold finds the immediate kill on the Shocks.
Good incentive.
Low HP as well for Kenny and Lucky. That forces them out. Lucky hits it though. He only had 7 HP. One tick of the Molotov, he goes down, but he gets the shot off on Cold beforehand. And it's Kenny with nowhere to go. Molotovs are everything. They force them off the angle. I think Taco's got just enough time on the defuse, and it will now be a 6th round for MIBR.
It just about comes together there. Taco with the clever plays with the utility. Lucky to pick up a second incendiary from the floor and take his total up to 7 kills, 4 deaths. Great work by him. AWP didn't seem like the best situation for him, but when they were so low, he could flush them out and managed to win out the round. Good job by Lucky to actually bring the round that close. That was a partial buy, but unless you win on the T side, it can be very disappointing to get that close. This was the kill from him to actually get a rifle, and then he started doing real work with that AUG. Scoped in, managing to hit the headshots, and before he went down to the flames as well, got his 3rd. 6-1 though, as Fur will try and get aggressive again towards the banana area. They've got incendiaries down towards T-Steps here, and we'll see if he wants to go any further. He's going to challenge T-Steps. We've talked about his aggression maybe being a little bit too predictable. It seems like they're pushing middle and banana a lot here. Shock's just waiting at T-Steps. You're not going to find much easier frags than that.
Cold and Taco going aggressive, but Kenny already there with the AWP. He's got the shot on Taco. Quite effective, quite easily. Tries to slip back out. He'll get Jax, but Body's still inside of the doorway, wants to hold him off, and they get more and more aggressive. Because Phelps pushed the smoke on the opposite side, knowing Cold was taking aggression. That means they had to be getting someone up and fall, and look at that, out and wide. Finds two, Lucky and Shocks with one bullet.
That's not bad at all, exactly what they needed. That's a bit of vintage Fallen there. Manages to get the collateral, and Coldzera pushing the apartments. This is looking so good. Can't quite find the kill on Body, but he has done damage and stays alive, so that's fine. 40 seconds remain here as the T scramble to make something of this round. Coldzera still pushing smoke, still getting information, as you can hear them wrapping around towards that A site. If he gets one of these kills, it's round done. If he goes down with nothing, GC might stand a chance.
Cold needs to be careful of the fact that Graveyard's covered off. Certainly didn't have that awareness because Body gets the free shot on the side of him. 2-on-2. Phelps already on the case, though. Bomb planted on the back of Cold going down, but it's all on Body, and they know where he is. Flash nearly cost them because it was thrown as Phelps looked away, but that was exactly when Body peaked. He almost got a free shot, but Fallen's got the angle, and it's now 7-1. This looks much better from MIBR than it did yesterday, and those smiles were not necessarily as present.
Well, the individual plays are coming out. We saw Fur, like I said, pretty predictable with his aggression these days. It seems like everyone's just waiting to start the round to see where he heads towards. He actually challenged it right down at the T steps alone without backup from a flashbang or anything. That's an audacious move, but here's Fallen recovering the situation. He almost got 3 out of that. That would have been insane, but he manages to finish off with 3 kills in total, taking out the last player towards a pip. Phelps did a very good job of actually attacking the site. Once he realized a bomb was planted, he can maybe steal a player away.
Yeah, he certainly could have tried to do so. The interesting thing, at 7-1 now for Brazil, take from that what you will, is quite simply the fact that Taco said yesterday, despite that this is a previous lineup they've worked with and something they're familiar with, there was a lot of nerves in yesterday's games. That was the debut for the team. That's how long it's been since the transition was made. Getting Taco back in, getting Phelps back in, and now, from when they had their opening matches, maybe they did just need to settle into it. Maybe today, maybe one night at sleep after 2 games, a couple shaky ones. Obviously, the Cloud9 loss was way off the mark from what they would have expected. Maybe that's all they needed, just one night to talk it over. You get Zeus back on board. He's familiar with how to coach these guys. Maybe they are going to be the whole new team that we expect from this point onward.
It's been a couple of months since any of these players have been in a tournament, maybe just warming up into it. It's never too late. They're only 1-1 right now, but this is a fantastic start. And Phelps looks confident. They don't seem as cagey as yesterday, and Fallen's hitting some wonderful shots here with the AWP. That's what we want to see. We want to see him and Kenny S go toe-to-toe here. Kenny will get 1 before he goes down, but 4 players survive for the Brazilians. They are 8-1 up here on the CT side of Inferno in this best-of-1 affair. G2 looking to avoid the 1 and 2 situation. Can be a little bit daunting down there. But for now, they do have AKs once again. Kenny S, no AWP. Not necessarily required on the T side of Inferno. Shoxy will bring in the AKs as well. These guys not opting for the Kriegs at all. A lot of teams have been having a couple of players on that weapon, but it's
Elijah's just going to main it all event. They already stated that he will. He's gotten to know the spray pattern. It's drastically different than the AK, but Elijah sees massive potential on entry with it. So
I had a thought last night. If you're a CT-sided player, right, and you're maining the AUG right now, would you pick up a Krieg over an AUG because it has more one-tap potential?
No. And I'm going to get back to that because this is a setup that needs to work for them. If Colt misses a shot, Taco's going to be in trouble. But he baits it in. Jax, good return. That's a bit aggressive from Taco to be that far down the hall. Usually we say you want to be both in a position that you can jump out. They wanted to bait him in. It didn't work. The reason I say no is for the same reason that it's not already being mained by more players on the T side. It might be a better weapon. There's an argument for it. DPS factor, forgetting the headshot, the one-shot potential of the AK. Fallen this time is not going to have quite such a spectacular shot over a B. He's forced off. Utility will hold them off. But because no one's gotten used to the different firing rate from the AK and the drastically different spray pattern, until we see it actually become a prevalent weapon in any situation, it's not like they're going to pick it up on the CT side. Once maybe someone's really... Maybe Elige will, because he's used to it, right? Someone like that, maybe he will, but otherwise, no.
The reason I ask is because in the Liquid NIP game yesterday, CTs were actually running past AKs to hold onto their AUG, and I thought, that's an interesting idea. Like, we've actually got to that point now. Would they favor the Krieg and have the best of both worlds? But either way, it is going to be Lucky to crack open the B side. It's another 3 versus 3 here, and make it 2, as Lucky will actually continue to find frags. That's 2 in the round, and the bomb's planted. CT's pretty far away. We know MIBR are deadly on the retakes, however much time is remaining, and you can see Coldzera waiting for a mistake to be made. Will the T's peek for a bit of information? It looks like possible. Zeal, hold up now.
Keep in mind this will be a 4-round reset, so every kill is going to matter. If they can get the op out of Kenny's hands, significant, and it's very difficult for him to exit the site from that position. Phelps goes down, Kenny gets the shot. That'll do it. That'll get him out of there. No problem. They'll keep all 3 guns up.
G2 with the second. Like you said, 3 weapons surviving. Kenny's got the AWP once again. Money actually not fantastic for MIBR. That's how quickly Counter-Strike can change. You lose 1 round. Have a close one before that. All of a sudden, the game flips on its head. They're on the T side of Inferno as well. They're aiming for about 5 or 6 rounds. ID a lot more, but considering the start they've had, we'll see what they're up against here. No armor, upgraded pistols, 1 smoke and a flashbang. G2 probably not fully aware that they're going to be this low. So they're going to just be running a pretty default round right here. You can see 1 player holding passively towards Banana, not actively going for the control. Want to make sure there's no aggression at the very start. It's actually a 4 stack from the Brazilians at that side of the map. Good grenade, does significant damage to them. Lucky they've got the bomb. If he goes down here, Matt, this could be disastrous.
Oh, he got... Wow, he still hasn't got himself out of it. He got very fortunate that he didn't get caught with his knife out. With a smoke down, walking away. Bomb is dropped, but luckily they already had attention turned back that direction. Shocks made good work of getting 3 kills, and the fact that they pushed Banana, as soon as they grab this bomb, he's going to confirm it's clear. They should just head straight to B with he and Kenny, but Jax, I say that, is already in A, so they could go back that way as well. Phelps. All right, Jax has done... Oh, he did. He had it right. He had it perfect. He cleared the site, and the only position they could have caught the bomb in transition from was top mid. He checked it. That's when Phelps kind of snuck in under the radar, but either way, Kenny went the safe route through the apartments.
Well, looks like they should be fine. With the bomb planted, I don't see Phelps being able to do much with this. And indeed, waiting at the bottom of middle, Shoxy will claim his 4th kill. A bit of a scary moment there when they push Banana. You've got the bomb with the knife out, like he said. He manages to actually make a nice move and a good decision under pressure there, getting in towards the underpass and making sure he could at least stay alive for his teammates to back him up. He didn't lose the bomb in a horrible position, like right at the bottom of the Banana where the CTs are pushing. So he managed to at least get himself away from the action, and Shoxy could clean up. So it will be 8-3 back on the AWP. No double AWP set up this time around. They are going to have 3 AUGs though. Taco staying true to the M4. Colds are at the top of the scoreboard right now with 12 and 8. As the CTs maybe are combating towards B once again, but it's going to be Fur taking down the aggression, trying to get the control. He will be punished for it.
Fallen takes a nade as well, down to 58. He'll back off. He did use a bit of utility to safely secure the position. They've already rotated it back over as well. They've got Phelps towards CT spawn.
So at this stage, you have an opening pick on the T side. You have the majority of utility. You've got good map control towards the apartments as well. That is going to slow you down, though. Decent incendiary will buy a little bit of time for rotations here from the CTs. You can see Phelps considering it now as he transitions from the B bomb side towards A. But G2 with this advantage, as long as they send 5 players to one area, they should be able to trade this one out. coldzera not really in a multi-frag position, but he's getting it done. He's making it work as he gets 3 kills. Taka will back him up. That is fantastic work by him. They didn't expect him to be in the open like that. Most CT setups are very passive, and lucky as anything, but it actually goes down to the 1 versus 1. How has he made this happen? He's playing a great game so far.
He knows where Taco is as well. He knows he's stuck inside of the pit at this point in time. He could back off. He has the bomb. There's no need to overcommit to an A plant. He can actually book it to B at this point and beat Taco there, no question about it. But he wants Taco to have that shadow of doubt in his mind that he's already left, that he's going to walk out. Lucky pulls it back brilliantly. 4 kills to clutch it back, and it's now 3 rounds in a row for G2.
Finally, I'm starting to recognize why these guys got a bit of hype around them. I hadn't seen it up until this point, but they're looking sharp. coldzera and Taco managed to get, 4 kills in this position? Lucky comes in and just decimates him. It looked like this round is completely done for. Somehow he manages to make this play here. Absolutely wondrous second shot as he goes through the smoke there. So calm. And you got to ask yourself, the CTs, I understand they're trying to back Taco up. That wasn't necessarily the worst play in the world, but it certainly wasn't the most calculated. If they wanted to win the round, just holding up for that smoke and forcing him to make the next mistake, that would have been the way to play it. But still, Lucky, no one's expecting him to hit those sort of shots. That was absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, could have easily locked them in at that point in time just by holding on the other side, but Taco's so low. They wanted, as you say, to support him. 9 kills for Taco, just to note, but Cold leads the way on 15. On the other side, it's Shocks on 12.
And running through smokes, his defender was on the way. You got to have a grey screen, essentially, and when you come out of that smoke, the T's can actually see you before you're on the CT side in this equation come through. So the fact that Lucky gets a bit of an advantage in that sense, he hadn't planted the bomb yet, he's almost fed those kills. Incredibly difficult shots, but he makes it work, and he's looking like a bit of a star today. That was very, very good indeed. Shoxy trying to get that banana control. The CTs have been very aggressive this game. Maybe a little bit too aggressive in the previous round after getting 4 kills and it all crumbles. It's going to be a frustrating one to give away. Bit of a stack towards the quad side here. We got 2 players there. We'll see if this will be enough. They're actually going to try and bait in Phelps. It's quite an interesting setup here. So the idea is you have this 2-man setup towards quad. If they kill both of these players, they won't suspect a third in towards that pillar position.
Flash covers off body completely. You're right. It's a different setup than what you're used to seeing, but it has a very clear purpose to it. Taco's also supporting to make sure that they can't sneak out the apartments behind them.
Molotov actually landed on their feet there, so both had to cut down. So not going to see that really come into full effect, and I don't think Fallen can do much here either. He might be able to get some damage off. Actually, a kill. That's pretty insane. He manages to get that. He won't get anything more, but the fact he even gets one with just a USP and no utility is pretty good. As his teammates now will scramble and see if there's anything to recover. Can they take a couple of AKs away and maybe get out of the round with a rifle?
Planted toward Orange's 1. Jax, he'll get a smoke down to the back 10. Kenny's already stepping up with the AWP. In fact, doubly so. He'll find Taco as well. Body got cold. First, really all that's in this. And let's see if he can get an AK-47. What a turn and a half. MIBR get 8. They were 8-1 up. We thought this looks spectacular. This is more what we thought we'd see. This is more of the communication. Everyone's getting kills. They're getting aggressive in situations, playing as a unit, as a team. Now G2 turns things around. And it's on the back of a few spectacular individual moments. Jax, by the way, only has 5 kills total. He had 4 in that round. It's now 5 rounds total for G2 as we hit round 14. Money this time for MIBR. There's money for the rest of the half on the G2 side, but if they win this, they could make this 8-7 quite easily.
Well, win taken out of their sails. Will they continue to push positions and try and dominate the map? They don't have the AWP to fall back onto now as rounds start to slip away. Great start from MIBR, but G2 certainly looking dangerous now, and it's not the same old names we talk about, KennyS and Shox, who are actually seeing some big plays on the young guns as well. Finally, they're showing their worth as we go into round number 14. Apartments control, and that grenade could do a lot of damage indeed. 2 of them go through, and Jax is down at 26. Body not as effective, but he's got himself up towards quad, but not for long.
Taco going to use the bike. Ooh, spots one, just barely got out of the way as well. Kenny with the IEWP was firing in toward the hole in the window, or the wall. Shox still holds top mid. He'll watch behind the smoke. First solo B at this point in time, but not getting information on Banana. He's not scouting it at all.
He's getting a rotation from Phelps at this point. I think that's the right call. You have the man advantage. Why would you risk everything with a solo play towards B? Hold the crossfires, run down the time up. And in terms of utility towards B, they actually have 2 flashbangs. That's about it. So no smokes to actually push back an execution there. But it doesn't look like G2 are heading in that direction, at least for now. As they get that mid control, it's Kenny has to try and open things up towards the arch side. Fallen takes down that initial threat, but a trade comes through. But the CT's still with the advantage here.
Certainly. Cold inside of the site. Taco inside of the pit. Cover quad. Smokes can go down in front of library. That suggests, rather makes it obvious that in fact they are going to rotate that position. Flashes as well. Cold gets caught. Double flash. Wasn't ready for it. That gives Shox the run in. Taco's got to be perfect. Oh, he nearly is. Snapped up high as well, but Jax just barely got away with one. 22 HP. He's got to clutch again. Bomb down. Both rotating over from the B site. No kits on either player. AUG for one, M4 for the other. 2 flashes. No smoke. It's going to be a heads-up duel. They'll play this for trade. They'll go together at every possible instance, and they'll go relatively quickly on this. Jax could actually get a lineup if they don't check the proper position toward Graveyard. Headshot potential for the AK. He's got to look the right spot. Knows and sees and lines up. He's got both again. Brilliant from Jax.
How does this keep happening? G2 are digging so deep for these rounds. It looks like that had no chance. That position as well, you'd think it'd be a trade, but the timing works out perfectly for him. He's looking towards Apps, Quad, Arch as well, trying to work out where they'll be heading towards. They both walk in the same position for the mentality you described. They're trying to trade it out. They're trying to play together and have a 2-on-1 situation instead of 2 separate 1-on-1s. And that actually leads to their demise. They both get taken down with the spray, and we go into the final round of the half with just MP9 to FAMAS and M4 for Taco. But that's a huge, huge round there. And KennyS does take an 8 at the start of the round, but that shouldn't be too catastrophic. He can just play accordingly now, a little bit more passive than trying to open things up. CT's trying to get the B control at this point, waiting for the flames to go down and dropping a smoke just to get them some control of this area. You can see Fur, he's feeling it. He wants to get down there towards the bottom.
I've got to do something. Fur and Fallen, most notably on B, by the way. I mentioned that round. It was a round that he took a lot of flack for, Phelps. He and Fur pushed on 15-12 in favor of MIBR. Lost. Economy broke. They went to overtime with G2. Lost the map. G2 went on to the finals and won the event as a result of it. And it shouldn't have happened. Body, good find on Cold. It was over-aggression from two players of similar style in one spot. Fallen's a little more calculated. He'll play this correctly with Fur. They've rotated Phelps off that position as a result of it, but ultimately, it is what led to his departure from SK at the time. He didn't like the pressure. He didn't feel that he deserved to be there, and he took it very personally at that point in time. Good find from Phelps. He makes up for it now, and this is what they talked about. He's matured in INTZ, and he's come back over for a reason.
Really great half a Counter-Strike there. We've had so much high-octane action, lots of clutches, and looks like the stars are shining today. We'll see if we can have G2 close things out and make a bit of a comeback after this break.
On my own, when you spill that rum and coke on my t-shirt, yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high-pitched feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Riverside. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby, you make me feel something. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high-pitched feel, baby. We shared a cigarette by East Riverside. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did to make it stop, 'cause baby, you make me feel something.
We get back underway in our best of ones. It's a 1-1 decider match between MIBR, who had a very slow start yesterday, and G2, who we never know what to expect from. It's 9-6. Half had a bit of everything, I think.
It certainly did. It looked like MIBR got to run away with the initial half there, but Kenny S with the 1D, he opened the floodgates. They managed to get some amazing rounds put together. The individual stars absolutely shining there, and we're starting to see a bit more of the Lucky and Jax as well, who managed to perform under a lot of pressure here. It is 9-6 for G2 now on the CT side, the more preferred half, and we'll see if they can win the pistol here. I would say much needed, and MIBR's T side is where they usually have problems on this map. We'll see what they can do as Jax and Body now to be challenged behind the smokes. Damage inflicted though, and it's going to be a very fast wrap towards the A site from the MIBR boys.
Fallen and Taco immediately on the case. Jax is going to go back inside smoke. Someone trying to just stay alive at this point in time. Shox will give him help in doing so, but only for so long. Fur down, Cold gets the response. Bomb planted. Lucky and Shox. Lucky absolutely destroyed by Cold, who re-entered from the boiler doorway. Knew he was there, knew he was peeking him, and Phelps does the same to Shox. 10-6, they get the second pistol.
Both pistols in favor of MIBR, both of them very fast and action-packed affairs, I would say. They managed to push on their CT side and kill absolutely everyone within a few seconds, and this time they waste nothing at all with going together towards the arch side, managing to wrap towards our bomb site and hit all the shots with the Glocks. No problem whatsoever for them. Didn't really have to break a sweat. Grenades not landing at all on the G2 side. I'm going to see a little bit of a partial investment from them here. A lot of teams actually opting for a force buy in the second round of Inferno on the CT side after losing pistol, because you can play with the CZ and smokes and play accordingly defensively in the cubby holes and actually make it very dangerous indeed for the terrorist forces. But they haven't got the armor here. Going to be focusing on the bigger picture, and we'll see if they can get any sort of damage done here. You can see they still have their smokes, so they can treat this like a gun round and try and buy as much time as possible. As soon as they detect a threat, drop a smoke and buy themselves some time and hopefully hold them back as long as they possibly can.
Fur drops in. Does get one on body, but not aware that Jax is on the same position. Phelps will nade, hoping that it'll add to damage. The gun did more, but a great repeat. Jax on the Deagle takes him down inside of the pit. Watch for Cold. He wants to spray it. Smoking themselves off. They'll transfer to the corner. Left side sight. That's the angle removed, and it also means they've got to step in deeper toward the pit to get the peek in that angle, and as a result, 2 players at Library become a lot more relevant. With smokes down in that position, though, it's going to be difficult for them to try and spot in with their teammates. And Taco's aware that they could be in the corner. Jax up above, who's going to drop off, not wanting to get sprayed through. Taco changes his aim. They're just slowing it down, trying to buy themselves some space and time. So 2 toward Quad. Fallen's there as well. He'll enter now. Smoke's gone. They can start to just go in and look for the vision directly. Taco and Cold's Fallen to close it out.
Ooh, I thought for a second there G2 might be onto something, but it's a nice calculated finish from the Brazilians there, making sure they didn't overcommit and run into the side one by one. It was nice pick control from Taco, boosting himself up on the half. Broken wall there, managing to take the initial player down, setting up his teammates to finish the round off. Lovely shots here from Jax. He was on 3 HP when he managed to get another kill as well. Look at that. 3 comes out. Manages to take the player down in pip. Unfortunately for them, they still will be on an eco here, but they didn't fully invest last round, so they can still play with smokes and flashbangs here. A couple of P250s. Kenny S with enough cash to get the AWP out in the next round as well, so that's good to see. G2 at this point would be happy saving a rifle. That's about as good as this round can get for them, unless MIBR make a terrible call and decide to push a position where they're stacked. But there's no stacks right now. G2 will start sending another player over towards the B side of the map, though. It's going to be Kenny S rotating. And in turn, Jax will join him as well. So they're anticipating a possible B approach here after having heavy presence towards A in the previous round. MIBR don't have to do too much here. They've got a MAC-10 in the hands of Fur. Run the default, see if you can get a bit of intel, detect a stat. You want to send that MAC-10 in first just to combat those close-range players. He's not there right now. He's actually top of middle, so he could be just hunting for a bit of intel towards middle before they head in towards B. Calls have been made. Not 100% clear where they'll be going, but Phelps nowhere fast, I'm afraid. Taking down the 1D and challenging it by himself. That's not the play you want to be making.
11-6. It's not the play you want to be making, giving up a gun, potentially, and certainly ground early. They've gone and got the second AK picked back up, and they've got 3 now in total, but Fur on the MAC-10 is the one doing most of the work. Taco dropped. Another AK down. Keep that in mind for late round. If they win this out, Fur will want to upgrade on that, I should say, for free. He's already got great return on investment with the 2 kills at $600 reward. He's hedging his bets here. Does he want to push and get more kills on the MAC-10? I think he's better to just go pick up the AK.
You might be right. So we're talking about that idea of Fur going in first, and maybe if he was challenging B, they need a smoke spawn for him, a couple of flashes over, a Molotov, send that MAC-10 in. He would have detected 2 or 3 players there, maybe got a kill, and instead Phelps challenges dry towards CT spawn, gets 1D, and hands over an AK towards Lucky.
Yeah, Fur's got the other one, though. So they do at least keep 3 of them, but yeah, they definitely gave a gun away in that situation, which is not ideal. Ideally, you want to lose the SMG, right?
Yes.
So
that's you really don't want that for the next gun round. So that would have been the call, really. Get him in there. He probably gets a kill if you just set it up correctly. But overall, 3 players survive. It's not a massive deal for MIBR. They've got money in the bank here. They're 12-6 up. They've got the 3-0 again. So as far as they're concerned, everything's good. But Lucky, shots he's been hitting today, he now has the AK-47 on the CT side. That is very beneficial. Allows you to take more audacious picks towards those key positions, go for the one-taps, and be a little bit more aggressive, perhaps, as we get into the first gun round of the second half. It is going to be a tactical timeout. I can confirm Kenny S brings out the AWP. He's currently sat on 11 frags and 13 deaths. At the very top is Shoxy, 15 and 16. AKs across the board from MIBR. They don't want to rely on the AWP just yet. Allows them to be a bit more nimble and agile. Good starts in either half. Started to go wrong on this point, though. Kenny S can be extremely powerful on this map. We've seen flashes of it at this event, but going to see hopefully a lot more. His body looks to cross over towards mid. A down towards the T-steps area. Connects with reasonable damage.
Cold still waiting down at the bottom side of the underpass. He'll lob an aid toward top middle as well. No one at the wall. That's not going to do any damage. There is a bit done toward Lucky over toward B. He gets tagged down to 86. Phelps getting far more aggressive. Gets behind the half wall. So the default for MIBR, take Banana, take Boiler. Work the map in accordance to that. No kills so far. And Shox wants to reclaim some of the position lost. Probably wise that he backs off on that with the smoke already at the half wall. Boost, Fallen was already looking in that direction. You've got 3 players there. Really all you can use at that point is incendiaries to try and force them out. But that's a lot of defensive utility when you've only got one other smoke.
They got 1 smoke, 1 incendiary, but 5 terrorists on the other side of that B-bomb site. If they can deploy that correctly, get the smoke down, incendiary when they finally commit, it could be enough.
Kenny's just done a massive amount of work. Just by getting aggressive enough to peek mid with the op late round, 40 seconds, saw no one in mid. There's no activity at Boiler. He knows that they're going to be in Banana at this point, so body's rotated early. In fact, throwing utility already to try and prolong how much they have to work with, and it's worked out brilliantly because Lucky gets 2. Shox finds 1, falls off it cold. He got 1 kill back, but they're desperate to get the plant, so they'll stick to their guns in doing so. Fallen to put it down as Cold survives on 6 HP to watch Ruins, making sure he can do so. They've got angles, not a lot to work with. There's no kits on the CT side, but with 4 players, you'd think they can get in. Cold's using the fountain to perfection. 6 HP, he finds 2 kills, 3 in the round in total, and he's still working it in from Orange's 2. Kenny will finally pull him back, but he's given Fallen an absolute fighting chance at this.
Fallen has got a smoke here as they go towards the bomb. He needs to find the initial kill, and he's done that perfectly. Time ticking away. Kenny has with no kit. He actually stands no chance there at all. Surely he has to save, and indeed he will. The round comes crushing down for G2 at that point. It's Cold Zera on low HP. Somehow manages to get 2 kills towards that coffin position. That's the kind of plays we expect from him. Perfectly positioned. Nails the shots and sticks the landing there. 3 kills, and then Fallen just has to find 1. No kits on Kenny S, and he falls back just to save that AWP. They continue their rampage here on Inferno, and it's going to be 13-6. And money is actually reasonable. We're going for a double AWP setup here on the CT side, but it looked like G2 round. Again, it looked like they had everything tied up, but that was the difference maker here. Cold Zera didn't hit him once. He had 6 HP for both of those kills.
Spectacular so far. 13-6 now. MIBR just 3 away. Certainly, I would have thought the favorites coming into this, but there was some doubt, skepticism over yesterday's performances in G2. They've been impressive at times. As Phelps gets up on the logs, he's going to lob an 8 in. That'll do. Should do. I didn't go far enough. I thought it was going to actually make it beyond the entrance point, but it won't. Nonetheless, direct trade. Body for Fur. Taco with the assist of Fur. Takes down Body. This double position now for the G2 side. Taco spots that and gets away with it. That's with an op there.
Yeah, it's a very vital bit of information gathered, but Taco does go down in the end.
Very quick rotation. Kenny knew exactly what was happening. If they spotted him there, was going to back off. He just instantly jumped out of the door, went straight to the boiler, caught him off in transition, and Taco I don't think was expecting him to be so quick. As Lucky, however, is equally as quick, it seems, on the AWP. He's got Phelps down, 2 ops, 3 kills between them, and they've got the advantage because it's down to just Cold Zera. And I don't think this time he'll get quite so lucky. Actually, he gets exactly that as he gets another kill on the op, 3 in total.
I see what you did there. Excellent work. And Lucky, he actually looked very calm under pressure. We're seeing some great plays from him and Jax, the names you might not be so familiar with. That's a nice 3K of the AWP. They managed to hold on to a double AWP setup after losing a disastrous round previous. So this is under pressure. That flick towards the boosted position is actually really, really difficult. And the fact he manages to land all 3 shots here without a miss really does light the fire beneath G2 as their first round in the second half. Will it be enough to really get them off the mark there? They do have 3 orgs, double orbs, Kenny S and Lucky, which seems to be a potent combination at this point, up against what looks to be a partial buy from MIBR. They've got 1 AK purchase so far. coldzera purchases that. The rest of them, though, not so well off. They might just have to go with some pistols and smokes and see if they can allow coldzera to find an opening and capitalize upon it. So it is just him, but his money around 2,300. So he invests. He had a bit more money than his teammates. And we'll see if he can do any damage here. A lot of top teams like to experiment with this setup. If you can cause 2 or 3 kills, get a bomb down, there's a chance you can win the round. And he can still buy next round anyway, so that's okay.
Bonnie. Incendiary goes down on the bottom side to make Kenny S throwing it. He's going to try and hold off the position, but they're giving up access to alt middle, or rather not peeked it. It's not like you give that up. Typically, it's not something you play for, but that does mean Jax now gets a bit of pressure applied onto him inside of the apartment position. He's already smoked off the Molotov. That's going to hold the terrorists in position just a little bit longer. And Cold, he's the one that really wants to open up the map with the AK. He's playing with his teammates at this point, so it's not the solo man at B that has that gun. That's Phelps, just making sure no one's pushing down. They won't be pincered in, that G2 won't lock the map on them, if you will.
We'll see if they can get the smoke down here. Ideally smoking towards library, flashing towards the bomb site here. Jax in position as the flashbang comes through, and it's up to the T's to get out of the apartment.
Well, this is significant because Jax is the only one directly on the site. Kenny and Body were doubled up on the arch side watching the wall. The fact that 4 now, oh my goodness, I thought he hit that one too. The fact that they get out from the apartment and there's no one in position other than Jax, they get a bomb plant down, that's almost an ideal situation for MIBR.
Well, the flashbang was very good indeed, and they have a coldzera AK. This is what it's designed to do, get them in a position like this, and we'll see if he can find the headshots now. Oh, dang, damage not coming through, and it's still coldzera alive. He'll have to do the heavy lifting here.
Cold is absolutely out of it. Lucky again. Lucky on the second op looks solid. They do get the retake. That's fine, but it's a bomb plant down from MIBR. Give them a bit more money. 8 rounds nonetheless for G2.
Impressive they actually got out of the apartment so effectively there as well. You could see the CT's not really expecting such a fast approach towards the apartments there. They get the bomb down, the initial kill, coldzera in the pit as well. You'd think he'd get a couple of kills in that sort of position, but unable to land the headshots. It's coldzera just now 23 kills and 15 deaths. Good to see him posting big numbers, and classically on Inferno, even with this lineup, over the years, he's always been their #1 performer on Inferno. He gets him out of a lot of difficult situations. So good at clutching on this particular map. Another gun round comes through. AKs across the board for the terrorists, and Kenny S inspecting towards second middle. Not going to find anyone just yet. His teammate's trying to protect him, but unfortunately, the AWPers drop, but Jax makes up for it. He gets a couple of kills himself, and he might want a bit more out of this. Taco has been taken down as well. Ding to the initial segment of the round. The nade will follow up, and it's a 4 versus 2 in favor of the French side here. They really are coming to life in the latter stages of each half so far.
Absolutely so, yeah. MIBR, every time it seems like they're starting to run away, G2 just reins them back in slowly, and I have to give a lot of credit to Lucky on the second op so far in this half. Good position from Fur. He'll find Body as he works out from the boiler doorway.
Yeah, he had 8 HP as well. Surprising he even goes for that. You're just playing a one and done position at that stage when you're so low, but offers himself up. That's the window of opportunity now. Fur and coldzera. A scary prospect for G2 here, and they're going to play one player in towards the library very defensively, not actually peeking the outside, just watching for anyone crossing towards the bomb site. So it's Lucky with the AWP. Might be able to get one out of this, maybe both. He gets the initial shot, doesn't have to repeat this, just got the information, stay alive, but does give himself up to coldzera.
Gets Lucky down, you're right, but he's tagged at 22 immediately after from the player in the pit. That's Jax. They're going to divide this up 1-1. They know he's tagged. So they'll hold each bomb site. They do not want to give another bomb plant to MIBR because they know they're broken as well now. And at 13-9, they're within range. Cole swings around. He gets Jax. Bomb to be planted now inevitably. 18 seconds, tons of time to realize he's wide open and all alone as Shocks will rotate through mid as well. He'll go down Banana to get there.
He's got a smoke, an HE, but he has no information as to what position Shocks will approach from. He's actually chosen top of middle here. Shoxy has no kit, so he can't be as methodical and as slow as he would like. He knows he had the advantage. coldzera is tagged up, but will he be able to detect him towards that graveyard?
Shock still working in. Cold, good find, but not enough. Shock's got the shot in return. The AUG will win it out, and no question he has time for the defuse. So it's going to be 9, and again, they're going to be broken, but a bomb plant down. And if I'm not mistaken, 4 rounds in a row, 3. So 3 with 2 bomb plants, a little bit of extra money. The bomb plant in this one mattering more than the last. They've already spent that money, but they're going to be very tight.
Decent attempt there from coldzera. That's a 4 versus 2 that comes right down to the 1 versus 1. So close. Maybe if he just held towards the graveyard and stayed defensive, might have been a catch him off guard. Went for the peek. If he had a bit more HP, he probably wins it. Here's Jax at the start of the round, protecting Kenny S, as you saw there, but he went down, but still, they win the round. Not a huge deal, but coldzera does get the plant through. They've got about $4,000 per player right now, but a couple of them hovering around 3,500. They might not go for the full commitment here on the MIBR side. As they'll discuss their options, it's their turn for a tactical timeout here. You can see 3 rounds in a row coming in for G2, looking to get into the double digits here. MIBR don't have a massive amount of pressure this round. They don't have to commit to this. I think just a pistol buy with some armor. 1 AK is coming out again. coldzera is really feeling it right now with 25 frags. He wants to cause damage. It's cost him every dollar he has. But they are starting to home in on a big loss bonus, so if they can get the plant down again, this will be worth it.
So Shox goes back out. He wants to hold at that wall and try and go beyond that. He's going to get aggressive, get all the way down, clear out Cubby as well. Lucky supports him in getting in that position. He'll stay there for now. Shox is almost in a one and done, so as much as they have information, it's not like he's peeking for it. He's waiting for them to arrive, so they can't rotate the third player off of it. Very passive this time as well from Body and Kenny. They're not going to go as aggressive to more mid-wall. And as such, MIBR doesn't have an easy time to get toward the bomb site at any facet. Cold on the AK. They're relying on it. They really want Cold to return to the form that he had in previous years. And you know what? So far today, he has 25 kills. He's well ahead of everyone else. The next closest on 18, both from his side and the other. Shox, Lucky, and Fallen all on that total. Speaking of Lucky, he's the one that needs to step out now. Pull some of the aggro away from Shox for exactly that reason, because they're all over. What a reaction from Cold. That AK, he gets both, and they're not lined up. That's not a lineup. That's 2 taps at different angles.
I told you, coldzera on the T side of Inferno can be absolutely wild. We'll see whether he can continue the form here. And so they make their way towards middle. They've only got 30 seconds remaining. Jax towards top of middle. It's Kenny S looking to find the next kill. Perfectly done. Someone had to be active there at the start of the round. It's worked out for him. Falls back towards the bomb site here. Can he find Taco as well? He'll actually have to drop a smoke or a Molotov out. We'll see. Kenny S just looking to get in that position where he can play off his teammate.
Watch Jax, though. Kenny's blind, but Jax swung out exactly when they were committing. Oh, no, Cold. He's done so much good work with the AK to open the round. He takes down his teammate, but he might still get away with this. 3. Oh, he's run out of time. He couldn't get there at all. Body, he's going to hold it off. Cold knows it, and Body's won the round. It's 13-10. No money, but he keeps the AK-47. And they'll be able to buy around that, so it's actually not the worst case in the world. He's still got a bomb plant down for a little bit of personal money, but still nothing beyond that.
G2 have broken double digits at this point. We'll see if they can continue here. That was another partial buy from MIBR, but they had the AK. This fantastic work from coldzera. That's absolutely beautiful. Not enough time to win out the round, though, and killing his teammate. And it must have been a moment of madness. Quite open there. No CTs, just so in the zone. Hit it for a couple of HP, and down he went. You know, to win the round off that one, but we'll see as the next round continues. AKs are out once again. coldzera does have armor after investing in the previous round. His money's absolutely fine. And here's Lucky. Aggressive again. Seems to have found his confidence. He's like willing to take aggressive duels now and actually winning a lot of them.
Well, and the AWP, that's a skill that, sure, I knew he was going to be playing on the double op. We've seen hints of it, but this game, he's been spectacular. Doesn't have it to work with this time on B, so he held the angle for the boost at mid-wall. He's backed off this time directly into Emo, so he's very passive on the B side. No one, in fact, in Banana at all, and Phelps is going to welcome himself to that. He's starting to check that out, so watch to see if MIBR falls back with that information. 4-man rotation to A. And Phelps might just make contact. If he does, and they wrap, oh, they've got to get by Body, because they could have exploited a mid to B split. The problem is, that's exactly where the second player from A is gone, so they've got the stance. Body's run out of ammo, where that was another kill. And he tries to get him back in.
Doing the damage, it seems. Body calls for backup from Kenny S here. The AWP not landing as many shots, but the USB certainly is. They got the bomb down towards the arch side. The 5 versus 2. Kenny S is just relentless at this stage. It's another clean sweep for G2 here. That's not looking too good for MIBR. This is where they really start to slow down. When their defaults stop working, they lose a couple of clutches. Their Inferno T side can be questionable at points. It's been this case for a couple of years now. If they have the momentum and everything's going great, it looks fantastic. But as soon as they get hit with a few rounds, a couple of resets, they start to drop off. G2 are certainly back in this game now, as Kenny S is finding his confidence too. 18 kills to his name. You can see him getting fired up. It means a lot. And we've got a lot to prove at this major, I suppose.
Kenny is known, I mean, you go back to 2015 in Cologne, the major. They didn't quite win in the final. He was crying on stage. He's been in games before where he's playing absolutely out of his mind, and you wonder how the hell he can even aim the mouse because he's shaking with so much adrenaline. He's been on both sides of the emotional table in terms of upset and jubilation, but now it's just about digging deep for these guys, and if they can beat MIBR and go 2-1,
yeah,
that's remarkable.
Inferno
for both sides, for G2 and for MIBR to be down 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's weird that MIBR, these best of ones, keep landing here. Like from the results and the games we cast, it just doesn't seem like a spectacular map for them. But either way, it is going to be a partial round once again. CZs and Deagles. We saw what Kenny S was capable of with the Deagle previously. And unfortunately, Phobes won't have a chance to show us what he's capable of. The nades land and take him down.
That's a pretty good read, because they threw a Molotov, which, if it was early, you'd expect no one to be up that high in Banana. But they thought there was a chance one got by, so they nade struck the top of it, thinking if they got any damages all from the Molotov, they'll get him. So they actually worked that out pretty smartly. Fur with one on body, but burned from the grave. Body gets revenge. It's the advantage still then to G2.
Couldn't really access the bomb side there at all. They were going to commit towards B, but the Molotov held them off. Jack's in second middle, waiting for this retreat. Nice shot from Taco. At least makes this round possible for them now. He has the AUG at this point, smoking towards the arch side. It just about blooms in time. He goes down to 45, and here's the bomb on his back. His teammate coldzera waiting towards B, looking to take down this low HP Lucky. He might be able to do that, or to sneak through spawn and see if he can pincer the A side.
Deagle. Inside water already. Can actually catch Lucky off. He had no idea he was in that far. He was still watching the entrance point. Doesn't want to go get the gun, smartly so. Smokes it off. That would have given him a chance to get there perhaps, but didn't want the risk of getting sprayed down. And Kenny's already spotted that he's gone toward ruins. He himself, though, tagged to 55. Has to be very careful and aware of the fact that Taco should be arriving at any point. He has, and he'll plant with 8 seconds. He knows there's a gun in the back of the site. And he's got the AUG to work with. Cold. Kenny's already spotted him, remember. He's just holding ruins. That means Kenny either has to go aggressive with the AWP and catch off Cold, or work back around and go CT. Cold figures he's still there because Taco's not Cold. He's gone any further. Gets the Deagle shot, and Shocks might just bail. He might just grab the op and work his way out. Not a ton of money on the CT side, and Cold's denying that as well. Spectacular.
That's his 30th kill. They come in with a partial buy, and we know they can be dangerous with the pistols, but coldzera's Deagle sometimes can be absolutely world-class, and that's a perfect example of it, as he manages to pick them off one by one. Lovely awareness as well. They're in a 2 versus 3 situation. He crawls in towards B, knowing that one player's there. He's got no health at all. Gets himself towards the pool position, waits for his moment, and at this stage manages to juke out Kenny S there and finish off Shocks as well. Absolutely astonishing work. That's to be 14-11. Another bye for G2 here. They've had a lot of rounds in a row, but they have been close. Scoreboard's coming through. Body 12 and 21. He has lost 6 of the 7 opening duels for them.
Yeah, that's not ideal. MIBR just 2 rounds away. Kenny, he's going to fight forward. Molotov behind. This position's brilliant. They're going to get one and get away cleanly as well. And with the boost, they get one, but body. There you go. That's much better. Turns it around and finds 2. Fallen and Taco go down. They spotted one at the top of the stairs, not the other. And it is just Cold and Phelps to go against Lucky at B. Oh, he's fully blind. Phelps just barely spotted. Just barely got the vision back. He'll go down before he reaches safety, and it's all onto Cold now.
It really is. He certainly can get a bomb down here. That's probably as good as it gets. We'll see. As he holds up, looking for that plant. They're going to stick together. Surely he can't get both. There's the first, but won't suspect the second. As soon as he goes for this plant, he'll be taken down.
I thought he was going to repeat it. I thought he was going to absolutely style on Lucky. 14-12. The important thing to note about that, 5 rounds in a row, that's a full reset. So MIBR They're fortunate because the round they won, they didn't invest into, have some residual cash. Fallen, he's got 44. He's not quite in op range. Cold has 57. They've gone for the solo AK before. Okay, they're going to do 2 this time.
You can't really argue the result. Coldzera is playing like he is, and he's confident, says, I want to buy this, I want to give it a go. You just let him get on with it. It's a really scary prospect at this point. If you give this round up, you'd have to take an eco next, and that'll tie things up at 14-14, but they're looking to answer back quickly here.
Yeah, they want to break G2. And it's not a bad call because they've got 2 rounds. If this was 14-13, I'd say take the save, because otherwise you run the risk of giving them that point. So they've got just enough to do this. Now, whether or not it pays off, that's another story. Fallen is going to be selfless as well. He bought the AK. He's got enough skill, we know that, to play it, but he gives it to Fur, the other explosive player on the roster. Back to the old MIBR. It's certainly showing signs of it. Like you say, 31 kills for Cold. That's more what we're used to.
That is much more like it. But can he make it dense in round number 27 here? It's 14-12 in favor of MIBR. They've got towards the end of the apartments, and Body just waiting for flashbangs here. Aggressive position. Taken back somewhat. Kenny S watching middle. Terrorists do have a couple of smokes and flashbangs here, as they'll flash towards middle now. Kenny S does miss a shot.
Oh my. I'm so surprised they get out on this, because they had 4-man with crossfires on both sides of mid, and yet it falls apart. Shocks gets one back on Fallen, but the explosion from the apartments is what's going to win them this round. Unless Shocks can somehow get in, he's got to be so sly. Smokes down toward Library. He pretty much has to hold his position because he has no teammates. Lucky wants to push to get him information. He wants to try and get through the smoke quickly. The kid is on his back, however. So if he goes through and dies, that's further that they have to go to get the defuse. And look at how many players are inside the site for MIBR.
They're waiting for that flashbang. Shoxy makes his move, but only good for one. The stack on the site completely shuts them down. But Coldzera, he will continue to find frags here, and it looks like Kenny S will be removed as well. How many kills is this boy going to find? 34 now, and another partial by victory to find the 15th round for MIB.
And it breaks the bank. G2's got very little to work with. That's a brilliant call to force buy on that round. And again, it comes from the fact that they won with little weapons. Cold gets a spectacular, a phenomenal Deagle round. It gets them an AUG that they carry over. That little bit of extra money. Sure, they lose the next round, but it means that's one more gun, essentially, they didn't buy, and it showed, because Cold had 5,700 last round. AKs and UMPs, and a victory, perhaps for the map as well. Just 1 to go.
He turned up the play today. Oh my goodness, still regulation. He's got 34 kills. Presumably they close it out here. Coldzera has been on an absolute Counter-Strike clinic today. Always does an Inferno. I'm not super confident in MIBR's ability as a team to play this map, but him as an individual, he always seems to pull out all the stops. All for Fallen now, up against not a lot, to be honest. G2 with 1 M4, 3 pistols, an SMG, bare bones utility, and no kits. You can see how low they are. No helmets purchased. Won't be a big deal against these AKs. But still indicative as to where they're at right now, as MIBR look to close things out with a B execution here. You're going to see Shoxy, the only rifle, playing the B site. He has no grenades map. Nothing at all. If he multi-frags this, he is a god.
Smokes, flashes, Molotovs. Molotovs, we know this is exactly what MIBR used to do in the old days. You clear out both orange sides, and the addition of Emo, they've got that back. This is old school. This is 2016 strat from MIBR, and it's worked out perfectly. They knew they only had to worry about the middle of the site. That's exactly where Shocks was.
That's exactly what it's designed to do. Just eradicate all danger around the bomb site. They can focus and hone in on the key points in our Molotovs. This should be it now. That's the only rifle going down for G2. It is map and indeed match point, as now the retake begins with UMPs and pistols.
This game's got an old school feel to it. G2, Kenny and Shocks performing. You've got old MIBR back in form, and with the victory, 16-12. Not to discount the Youngblood either. I'm impressed with Lucky and Jax, both of them finally having a better game than we've seen so far, but nonetheless, it's 2-1 for the Brazilians, and I do think overnight they definitely made some adjustments and talked things over. Maybe Taco was right. Maybe it was a little bit of nerves getting back to an all-Portuguese-speaking lineup.
Well, Coldzera certainly wasn't nervous at all. He finishes the game on 34 frags and 18 deaths. He was the absolute powerhouse behind the team there, making sure the clutches came in their favor, and that wasn't an easy game. G2 didn't roll over at all. They lost both pistols. They managed to have a resurgence in both paths and actually had some excellent gun rounds. They can take a lot of information away from that and hopefully build upon it. They're 1-2 now, but not out of the tournament.
Exactly. Not out of the tournament. They switched to best of threes. In fact, both teams switched to best of threes. All deciders and all elimination matches are exactly that. In other words, today, with the one-on-one matches, are the end of our best of ones. We've got one going on the B stream currently. We've got one more on either stream, and then we get to Judgment. There'll be some teams going home as early as today, and we'll have some teams moving on 3-0 as well, which means they'll have lots of time to prepare for next week.
That preparation, especially you get to watch all the games as they develop and see your rivals and what they're up to. It's MIBR who will be taking the victory here. We've got plenty more Counter-Strike action for you.
That's the smiles we want to see from MIBR as well. Cold looks pleased. That's a better performance from him, undoubtedly. Fallen rather, working with Zeus. We know the communication between them is legendary. They're back together. That's another story, not just the players. But speaking of Taco and being back on MIBR, he's standing by with Frankie.
Hello, Taco. Well, welcome back to MIBR. I know you've been practicing with the guys since the end of last year. How does it feel to be back with your mates?
It's really good, and yesterday was not a really good for us. It was not the way we expected, but we were all nervous. So yeah, I'm really happy to be back with the guys. Yeah, let's try to make history again.
And speaking of the nerves, I feel like you had a much more confident start today. Would that be right?
Can you repeat? Because my teammates are really loud outside.
Guys. Boys, we're trying to do an interview here. I know you're excited. You played a lot better than yesterday. Congratulations. But I need to talk to Taco about it. Now, Taco. Yesterday, very nervous. Today, how did you feel?
Today, we were really calm. Even though some situations, some rounds we threw away. Yeah, we had the control of this game, I felt like, at least. Of course, we have a lot to improve. But our mindset, talking about our mindset for today, was really great. Everyone was really calm. So yeah, let's go step by step. Let's keep going.
And I just want to ask you as well, because I know you were in Liquid, you learnt this NA play style, and you're trying to bring it back and insert it into this roster. So how is that blend of the styles going?
This is something that it's hard to talk about because we are still figuring out the way we're gonna play. Of course, we have that Brazilian style, and of course we're gonna have a little bit of it. But I don't know, CS:GO changed a lot, and you know, we are still trying to learn the best way to play. We are a super new team, but yeah, I think the style that we use in 2017 it still works a lot, and it's beautiful CS, I would say.
Well, we did see that old school style closing out that match. Congratulations, Taco. Go and celebrate with your very noisy teammates. We love a little bit of a party here on the stage in Katowice. We need to head back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Frankie. Suggesting his old style, that's right. The none other than MIBR's old style, in Taco's eyes, works. We'll find out if our analysts think the same, gents, because you were hesitant to say that they can do it again. Astralis, of course, raising the bar, I believe, were your words, Chen.
If by the old style you mean Cold Zero having to drop 35 kills for them to get across the line and winning some clutch situations that probably shouldn't have gone their way, then yeah, the old style definitely works. The fact of the matter is these are the same problems that they were having before, right? Yeah. On their T side, sure, it wasn't as late as when they played against Cloud9, but they were still losing some very rudimentary situations that I would be expecting a team of this caliber to be closing out. I would want to give a lot of praise to G2 here, and especially Lucky.
Sure. I actually think Fallen had a phenomenal first half. I don't think we should overlook that, but yeah, Cold bailed them out so many times on this T side. That 2v4 with Fallen when he was holding construction was 6
HP. Deagle? Yeah.
Well,
oh no, that was a different round.
Yeah,
that was a different round.
So a lot of the success coming from MIBR's T side came directly from Cold. This was a vintage Cold Zero performance.
Yeah, I actually wanted to highlight that round you're talking about on the B bomb side, the 2-on-5 it was. They managed to, have a really good B defense against 5 from G2. But then the retake situation, when I went and watched it back, Shox just chose to swing from construction when one of his teammates was ready with a flash. If he had just waited for that flash, or at least called for it, instead of going for a heads-up duel, then they could have picked together. What happened was Shox went on his own. That forced Body to come for the trade. He was out of position. He gets killed, and now 2 players have to make their way up CT spawn. So all in all, G2 a little bit unlucky.
Yeah, unlucky, but lucky performing. That's another one to take away as G2 now are on death's door. A best of 3 for survival will be their next port of call. Ours is a break. Spectacular work from Cold Zero. 1.7 or close enough rating. 35 frags in regulation. That is the Cold Zero that is in attendance here in Katowice. More from them later, but coming up after the break, we get to see Vitality take on Cloud9.
One more time.
Think he can't clutch through a smoke while recording in full resolution and streaming the play to the world? Watch this.
Counter-terrorists win.
Think he can't get famous in a flash? Like become your own meme famous? Watch this. Think he's been there, done that? With Intel Core i7, he's just getting started. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Prepare for combat. Go forth and conquer.
Intel Extreme Masters is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, Acer Predator, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Katowice is the seat of the Polish National Symphony and Radio Orchestra, as well as the Intel Extreme Masters, which is what has in fact brought us all together here today. My name is Trey Saranthus. I'll be picking up the reins here where Mr. Richardson has left off. And we're going to have another best of one coming your way, and this time the usual suspects are Cloud9 versus Vitality. One that is sure to prove to be a knockdown, drag-out affair. If we've learned anything from watching Vitality yesterday, now I'm sure you guys, especially you, Pimp, you had the honor of casting that one yourself. Well, Chad, anything you'd like to add on that note?
I just think yesterday we had two different versions of Cloud9, right? We had the CT wall that they put up against MIBR and just shut them out of that Inferno game, and then they went up against the best team in the world of Astralis. It was a 16-0 scoreline, but the fact of the matter is I don't think that scoreline says anything damning about Cloud9. It just shows you how good Astralis are carrying that through, right? They are the best team in the world for a reason, and they've come here to prove it once again.
Yeah, they have certainly shown up in a big way. They are still the top dogs, and there's really no one going to dethrone them anytime soon from the looks of it. And it wouldn't be Cloud9 yesterday, but it could be a Cloud9 dethroning Vitality today. In fact, we're going to take a bigger look into what Cloud9 is and what they're all about. Let's check it out now.
I feel really good that we made it, but I'm also still disappointed that we played so poorly earlier in the tournament. So definitely have a lot of work to do. I think we definitely should reach top 8 just because normally when we practice, we've been playing against a lot of the teams that are going to be in the Legend stage, and we normally do pretty well. So we're definitely expecting to make it through. I don't necessarily think that it's going to be easier, but I think that we're going to be more familiar and more comfortable playing against these teams. Whereas with Vici, Tyloo, and Furia, I think we've never actually scrimmed against them, so we didn't have anything to expect. I think we've done all the prep work and we've practiced as much as we possibly could leading up to this event. And the only thing left is just to not think too much about strategy and things like that, but just play our game and do what we do in practice.
Cloud9 with the star above their name, looking to regain that throne, but it is going to be a long, arduous process. Already proven that they have not what it takes to stand up toe-to-toe with Astralis, who are, well, the final boss, some might even say, of the Intel Extreme Masters. Now, in this instance, though, they do have a Vitality here on the chopping block.
And I think that's the biggest problem for Cloud9 right now. The fact that they're sending us so many missed signals. I can't figure out whether Cloud9 is a good team or a bad team, or whatever they're just really inconsistent in the way they play. You were saying yesterday 16-0 against Astralis. By no means that's necessarily a bad result, but then again, you don't lose 16-0 if you're having a good day.
Sure, that can definitely be said. You can back that one up there. With Vitality fragging on the screen right there, they also came into this Legend stage, right, and they weren't completely sold to at least me, but that game against Na'Vi has completely converted me. The fact that Apex is having a fantastic tournament, we know that Zawu can be consistent. We've seen what MBK's been able to deliver. That's just fantastic signs for this team as they continue to grow in front of our eyes. Whereas this Cloud9 roster, they have good moments and they have very bad moments. Now, when they start on the T side, Trace, their track record over the Challenger stage and here in the Legend stage, it doesn't look good. They got 4 rounds on the T side versus Vici, 3 rounds on the T side versus Tyloo. They got 0 rounds on the T side versus Astralis, and the most damning, well, not one of the most damning, another one is they got 1 round on the T side against Furia, right? They had the 16-1 game there, so their T sides are very flat. I think the fact that coach can't be behind them is really hurting them.
There's something very strange going on here with Vitality. It appears though they love to play Mirage, which is in fact going to be the map that we see here. That is on the cards, boys, and well, if anything tells us anything, which is Vitality versus Big, that one went their way, not so handily, but a 16-11 scoreline is a little bit more convincing than the triple overtime thriller that we saw last night.
Yeah, and Vitality actually played one hell of a game, as you were saying too, as well, Chad. Apex coming in hot, having a lot of moments where he shined through. You had Saivu having some impact, but not to the same extent he had during the first stage of the major. And then NBK, the guy that during the first stage of the major for Vitality was the most impactful player together with Saivu. Yesterday he had a bad game, yet Vitality was still able to put up a great fight against Na'Vi. So I think if he can come back to the form that he showed during the first stage, Vitality is going to be a very dangerous opponent for anyone at this major.
Just to note, in case everybody missed the video on the screen, because it was lightning fast, it was Mirage. Cloud9 had the choice between Overpass and Mirage, and now by picking, by being the team who gets to decide the last map, the other side, Vitality, gets to pick the side. And this backs up that stat I was just talking about. Vitality have chosen to start on the CT side, so this is very worrying for C9. They definitely need the pistol here, because that's where I think they can get a chunk of their rounds. At least they can be competitive and staying on top of the economy. But from that point onwards, their T sides just have been very flat, because right now, it isn't a pure in-game leader calling the strats. It's, getting done as a team and a lot of people making decisions. So that can fall apart very quickly if Vitality can erect a wall.
Yeah, well, putting the wall up is not going to be an easy tasking on either side, but in fact, putting these players on the stage will be much easier. Indeed, it is time to get them situated and seated, and it's time to start looking towards the server as we do get closer and closer to the live on 3. And it does look like our teams are now ready to take to the stage. I do believe that first team is going to be Cloud9. Vitality now on the stage, getting spun around, and they're trying to keep the spinning going as they look to lock in another Mirage map here. Having gone the full distance last night, you can almost imagine just how exhausting that must have been, trying to pull out all the stops and really all of the tricks that they have in their bag here.
If anything, it also gives them a great know-how of how to approach Mirage as a map. Now, they played it 2 times already, and it's going to be interesting to see whatever they will change some of the stuff we saw from yesterday up a little bit. Because I feel they have a deep layer to how they play right now. They were able to play fast, they were able to play slow, they were able to do some set execute as well. To me, Vitality seems like a very well-rounded team, and if they can keep that up against a team like Cloud9, who is night and day right now, I do expect Vitality to come out here. And as you said, Cloud9's T side, they haven't been looking good, so the fact they do get to start on the CT side is a big up for Vitality.
Yeah, they need to start strong. They need to start where they left off last night. Sure, they lost a 5v3 in one of the overtimes to take that game to, just grab it out of Navi's. Exactly.
All the way to the end.
Realistically, they should have probably won that game with a 5v3 situation. People misplayed. They felt the need to push and move around. Obviously, nerves have gotten to them there. But we have to remind people, Vitality have come from the open qualifiers all the way to this point. So every step they take, they're just proving themselves as a legitimate squad.
Right. They have, for what it's worth, they do have the storyline coming into this entire matchup as one that's, well, at this point, not as much to lose. They have come in here and they've put a foot down and said, you know what, we deserve to be here. And so everything here going forward will be that incremental success. And one big player over here on the side of Vitality that everyone continues to talk about is going to be Ziwu.
And I think the most impressive thing about him for me is the fact that he's so young and still able to deliver on this stage. We've seen plenty of times him coming into the game having a slow start, but he always picks it up. Despite being young, despite not having a lot of experience, he can have a bad start to a game. He can have a rough start, but still having the impact later on, as we saw against Na'Vi yesterday. And that's a great asset for Vitality.
Well, rough starts, or maybe not even starting the engine at all, would have been Cloud9 versus Astralis yesterday, and as much as I hate to harp on it, that is certainly something that will be going down in the books for what seems to be forever, Chad.
Yeah, look, that was a rough game yesterday where they weren't able to get any rounds on train, but on a map like this with an opponent that's maybe more on a level playing field, Cloud9 should be able to show definitely more than 0 rounds. I can see this one actually being a close affair, even though I'm touting Vitality as being a stronger unit. The fact that they took all the way with Na'Vi, I still think that Cloud9 have the potential, right? There's no doubt to the skill of these players. We've seen Kiyoshima take over rounds of his own. Automatic was warming up towards the end of the Challenger stage. Zelsus was starting to get some clutches under his belt, but the game has changed at this point, and they really need to pull up their socks.
Yeah, pulling up the socks is on the cards, and so is getting live in the server. You can see Apex deep in thought there, and I'm going to have to ask you for your thoughts, Jacob. We're about ready to get in there. I want to hear some win conditions for either side.
Saivu is a big win condition for Vitality. Even yesterday against Na'Vi, he was the guy with the most opening kills in the entire game. That having Symbol on the server as well tells a great story. That said, though, I think C9, what we've seen so far from them, it's night and day. If they play up to the best and Vitality play up to the best, this can be one hell of a game, Alec. Oh, sorry, Trace.
Oh, well, you know.
Well, you look like a jelly, don't you?
It's okay. You know, I've been called a lot worse than that. Chad, speaking of being called a lot worse, talk to me a little bit about some win conditions.
Yeah, I think that if Cloud9 are very aggressive when they eventually get over towards their CT side, they can actually unravel a lot of the strategies of Vitality. They had some good fakes, they had some good set pieces, but if you take a member out of the puzzle, you put a lot more pressure on MBK as the in-game leader who's still learning and, you know, growing into his role. So that's one way to deal with the structure of Vitality that Cloud9 can look to use.
And do you feel like, obviously, we've kind of driven home the point that this is a much more level playing field. This is a much more compact, robust, what will be a matchup on one map. Is this going to go all the way?
I think it could. I mean, what we saw yesterday was that Vitality made a lot of mistakes as well. So if Cloud9 can capitalize on that, this one could be a close one.
It could be, and very well it should be. Cloud9 versus Vitality here on Mirage. It's going to be Henry G and Sadicus. Take it away, fellas.
Thank you very much, Trace. We are very much looking forward to this. It's two teams that have a lot to prove and a lot of conditions that perhaps go against them in a lot of ways, too.
Absolutely. Cloud9 have had some rough results there. Last time they played Mirage against Furia, they lost 16-1 in that best of 3. If you remember, they lost 16-0 to Astralis yesterday, and we'll see if they can find a strong start here. It is required for this Cloud9 side. The bomb's going to be trying to be planted here, looking pretty good, as it will be dropped. It's going to be flashed, and it takes down Apex with the Molotov towards CT spawn.
Yeah, absolutely. An RPK, he's going to swing it back in. Molotov, he was stuck in the corner. He waited to move. He wanted to try and get a shot. Someone committing to the plant, thinking that he wasn't there. Didn't work out. So RPK works back in from triple, spots out, no one in connector, smoke down on top of the bomb. Perhaps they'll go for a fast defuse at this point in time. He's the one with the kit as well, so he's put that in by design, and they're on it. They should have this as well. I don't think there's an angle that the T's can work with. Zelsis finds one. Ooh, they got him off at RPK. He wrapped back around, he didn't hold to it. He got off the bomb. He must have been tagged a few times, because otherwise, in the smoke, I would have stuck to my guns on that, but Cloud9 get the round.
Yeah, you'd think with the smoke down there, he's got the kit as well. He just goes for a full defuse and causes absolute chaos. The fact he gets off and goes for frags, that's when the round is absolutely lost for me. They lost the initial kill there. It was a little bit frustrating for them, but here's Zelsis, a player that seems to be up and down, but mostly up in the last few matches we've watched him at least. And we'll see him pick up 3 frags there. RPK, I agree. Definitely should have full defused at that point, see if his teammates could defend him. But yes, maybe he took a few shots and felt like he was going down. But either way, it's a force buy from the French in the second. This is ZywOo, the team sniper with the scout, looking to potentially pluck the heads off Cloud9 here, but a body shot like that is absolutely fine. Just softening up the opposition for the pistols now. So that's going to be automatic down to 30.
You mentioned the 16-0 yesterday. The 16-1 to Furia. It was 16-3 to Tyloo and 16-6 to Vici. Tyloo and Vici and Furia, all 3 of those teams didn't even advance from the Challenger stage. And that's the losses they sustained. Fortunately, it was a best of 3, and they 16-1 Furia in response. The point is, I made a tweet about this, and we've touched on it a few times. Zelsis is technically registered as the coach. He's standing in for Golden, who's the in-game leader. That said, they don't have a coach behind them, and they don't have their proper in-game leader. Flush is experienced, and he's certainly taking command, but it shows that they can't adapt, or at least they aren't adapting in those games.
Yeah, their game plan goes wrong for them. It seems like everything crumbles. But they've won the pistol here. Hopefully can find the second round as well. We'll see a very strong game here as Vitality will take damage, but ZywOo still delivering pain. It's going to be rushed, it's plucked out of the air, and this could actually be a decent round for the CTs here, but they're starting to lose players now.
Yeah, they are. Fantastic shot from ZywOo. You got to give him credit on that. Jumping was rushed, and he still found his head, but it is going to be a spray down from Cloud9. They'll win out the round. They'll take it 2-0. Winner of this, again, we're in our 1-1, which means our last best of 3s, or excuse me, our best of 1s. We go to best of 3s, but winner of this goes 2-1. Both teams, in my opinion, have a lot to be proud of in that they've gotten 1 win already in the new Legend stage, meaning just with that 1 win, they avoid the minors. Vitality, that's great because it's been a long process building into this team. They had to go actually technically through the open qualifier to get to where they are now. And for Cloud9, that's significant because if they go back to Golden, they're technically a European core, and you'd have to go to a stacked European minor.
That is a very good point. The minors avoided is a huge deal, even though they haven't got the proper squad here. This is the eco, though, from Vitality. We'll see Rush. Good job from him. Doesn't have to overcommit. They have been tagged up somewhat. Need to be careful it doesn't fall apart. As you can see, the CTs on their full eco actually getting a couple of kills here, and an AK-47 with the bomb down. This is a full eco. Kiyoshima and Flush, though, can still pull this one back, but MBK's position will at least do some damage. He can't repeat that, surely. He can't afford to go down here. He needs to survive.
But what he's done by catching out Flusha is given Alex a chance here. He smoked off the bomb. He's only got 1 HP and an AK. Flusha would have already been at the top side of Horseshoe right now. When Keo in the door, they would have pinched this position together. And inevitably, even with the AK, he would have gone down. The fact that MBK's bought him that much space, Keo's basically held up because that's still the intent. They still want to play this together and take down Alex.
Alex is doing a great job of positioning so far, just trying to play off this bomb. He's only got the 1 HP though, so the chances of him winning this are very slim. Kiyoshima's been very patient, making sure they approach the situation together. Alex not feeling it. Gonna try and be a snake in the grass perhaps towards A. If they go towards B, he'll just save the rifle. Gonna make his way around. 30 seconds remain, and they might just head towards the B bomb site, considering he got the access point just there. And indeed they will.
Yeah, and then Keo checked CT, hoping he'd spot Alex, but Flusha was aware, coming out of mid so late, that there was no chance he'd go back into the underpass and sneak around, so they get to board B. I'm surprised Alex wants to play for this. AK carried over. You might consider with 1 HP just trying to keep that onto the CT side. They're going to have money in the next round regardless, but it's not an AK. He's going to make good on it. He got onto Flusha before he could get his gun at the ready, but Keo inevitably gets the trade. That 1 HP was always going to be a problem.
Remember, that's Vitality with pretty much nothing but USPs and some PT50s there, managing to bring it right down to a 1 versus 1. Alex, great play, realizes he had lost that situation when the bomb was down, manages to steal another kill away, and they are going to buy into the next one. Zywoo's got the AWP and armor, just to note, and they've also got 4 AUGs on their CT side. Automatic, though, we have been impressed. In the games they've been playing well, Automatic seems to shine with the AWP. Fantastic player, with all disciplines of the game, it seems. As Rush and Co make their way towards top of middle with Zywoo. So nimble, gets himself up towards short, waiting for the initial flashbang. He's going to peek off this and nail the first shot. Rush goes down. Zywoo could be happy with that, but he still wants a little bit more out of this, and it will cost him his life. I always say on these sort of rounds, when you know you're limited with like diffuse kits, grenades, if you get an opening pick like that, maybe better to fall off. And now that's actually given an advantage to Cloud9 at this stage. We already have a 3-0 lead. It's a 4-on-4. Damage done towards Automatic and Flusha, but Zywoo could have taken the advantage and got back. What's the next play here? Bomb still down in T-spawn suggests a very slow approach from C9. Tim just waiting for CTs to maybe counter boost, and that could be happening now, actually getting in position. As Alex will be the one chosen to go up here. You don't have to actually jump on the ledge. You can hold this position here and just see if anyone makes their way towards Delpan. And once you confirm this clear, get up and have a bit of a deeper angle.
So interesting, it's still called Delpan. When was the last time we saw from him? Keo, excellent shot. AK as he crawls inside of Connector, and the smoke down at the top of it. Apex can't even counter that off. So Keo's got a bit of a home to work with right now. He can burrow in. He knows the smoke's on a timer, so gets away, but that's exactly when Apex peeks out. He puts him down in the end, down to a 3-on-3, in fact, as Flusha is going back over toward the A site. They've held Palace the entire time. Zelsis has been waiting for his team to arrive, and Apex needs to be very careful not to get spotted by him as he transitions back toward jungle.
No smokes remaining, but there is the Molotov. I assume they use that in spawn here, but it's going to be the flashbang first. Actually, he hits MBK right in the face, but he comes unblind, and now the bomb has to go down, but there's no time remaining. It looks like Vitality have done enough to win their first round. Automatic thinks better of it. He notices the timer and has to get the hell out of there. So well done to Vitality. Managed to get the first pick, traded out, but then it was enough to actually run the clock down, and Cloud9 fall apart right at the last few seconds.
And Apex, credit to him. First off, gets the kill back on Kiyoshima to get control of the connector. Former teammates, in fact, winning a major together, Apex and Keo.
Indeed.
And both of them playing the entry role for LDLC at the time. I thought Keo was the underrated of the two when they were teammates. Apex got a lot of credit for, and rightfully so, for his entry ability. But this kill not only gave him control of connector, the follow-up right here on the top at Zelsis, because they wanted to plant the bomb. They threw a flash, and they'd spotted NBK on CT stairs. They both wanted to face CT to allow the bomb plant to go down. The second he takes out the player on Palace, NBK has an easy shot toward the bomb planter.
Ideally, they had a smoke there. All they had was the flash. Wasn't quite enough, and you could see Apex full vision from jungle. NBK flash, but only for a few seconds. They managed to tag together and close it out efficiently. We're going to see now round 5 come through. It is Cloud9 with less than what they had before. Just a CZ in the hands of Zelsis and Zywoo. Being dynamic, as we like to see Orpus do. He was middle before, towards short, now he's in the B apartments, finds an opening pick, and more importantly, this time he survives.
Automatic already creeping from Catwalk. He'll peek and peer toward the back of the site. Underneath of him, Rush is getting close to the connector directly. Try to pull back the deficit already as Vitality start to stabilize on their CT side. Rush checks the far corner. Flusha gonna flash him in. Smoke instead. And Apex will take advantage of that as well. He wants to get motion. Alex needs to be a little bit careful because he knows Molotov in the window. They can still boost up, but they're actually wrapping onto Cat. They've made noise. He knows they're there. So RPK gets the call, works out from behind the van, gives up the apartments directly, and gets 1 kill. Alex wants to stay dead quiet to sneak in behind them again. He should find 2 with their backs exposed. Easy kills, clean up on Cat, and it's Vitality with the second round.
That's how you play that ladder room. You're using the sound cues, wait for your teammates to take a bit of aggro there, and it's a nice spray down from Alex. They didn't check it properly. They looked in towards the ladder room, but didn't actually clear all the corners, didn't throw a Molotov there. We're just hoping it was clear, and Alex all too happy to pick those frags up for them, and it is going to be 2 in a row now for Vitality. As you can see him just getting all the shots done and denying the plant as well. It's going to be presumably the full eco at this point. Cloud9 after investing into the previous. The loss bonus not quite there. They're going to have a couple of deagles here. That's actually just 1. No armor, no nades. Objective, get that bomb down. Whether that's possible, I'm not so sure. It'd have to be something excellent here from Kiyoshima to even give them an opportunity. Nice hold from Vitality as well, reading the situation very well. They know it's going to be an eco at this point. You can see the crossfire on the B site. No one's committed. Even if they get 1 dig at this stage, they can't recover the weapon. This is looking very, very good for Vitality now.
Zaiwu getting 1 already. Apex with 2. Flusha with the Glock. Good look at that range. I'm afraid it's not going to go too well. Bomb sits down on the underpass. He gets Keo. They'll follow it up pretty straightforward. Alex with the kill onto Flusha. And 3-3. CT side pulling back. Cloud9. They have struggled on their T sides as well. Someone pointed out on Twitter when I made a tweet about those score lines and the inability to adapt that they seemingly started on, I'd have to check, but according to them, started on T side in all of those losses. I questioned if that was because he was referencing the AUG or something in the meta currently. I don't think that's it. I just think that their T-sides are not drilled enough right now. And again, it's adapting. As soon as the CTs get momentum and they start to get map control, Cloud9's mid-round isn't good enough to pull that back.
Well, if Vitality's Mirage wasn't decent before this event, after yesterday, they've probably got a lot of experience in it. Went to
good point.
25-22 against Navi's. They got plenty of practice in there. Actually beat Big before 16-11. So they've played a lot of Mirage here at this tournament as Cloud9 changed the pace up. Very fast B-split. Successful so far. They've actually caught Alex off guard. It's down to RPK. Only good for the 1 kill. I would say that's a save at this point, but Zaiwu still has vision, at least for now. Can't dodge that flashbang, and they're going to safely cross the site and actually start the plant. Is this worth going for? They have got the cash, and Zaiwu, he hits a wonderful shot. That will actually be their point of access now. CTs need to get out of the kitchen, though.
Zelsis waiting in the corner. Covers the entire wall with that position, but he relies on his teammates to stay alive so that he can't be double peeked. He's actually going to back it off because he has lost automatic toward the van. That gives him an angle toward the window, and he's followed it to the door. Good play from Zelsis. He started the entire major with an ace inside of this sight on the pistol round. He'll drop this time, but he's done enough for Keo to spawn out where Apex is coming from. He nearly got away with it, but Keo turns it around, and the rivalry between the two continues.
That was so close. Apex, I thought he made the godlike play there. He Molotovs towards the van. He flashes the bench and even peeks before it. Kiyoshima tries to turn away, realizes he's going to peek before it, and somehow comes out on top in the 1v1 duel. Cloud9 steal the round away. It was a great initial strategy from them. The fast B split, you can see they took no casualties getting their way towards the bomb site, got the openers, got the bomb down. Zaiwu caused some chaos there, but ultimately Cloud9 win, and they're going to chain things up. This time, 5 players towards the A site, and I guess if you're a team that doesn't have much tactical depth, it's sending 5 players into a basic execution. Use that firepower you know you have. You're going to find some rounds.
Shot from Zaiwu, he falls off ticket immediately. Takes out Rush. Not the flashbang he was hoping for.
Certainly not.
So he can't really peek off the back of it, but Apex does get to position. He'll find Flusha. He has been solid. We mentioned him beating out Kiyoshima on Connector. Keo clutched back against him last round. 1-for-1 between the two, but it's the mid-rounds where Apex has had so much contribution and rotation, and with that AUG, especially as bomb will go down mid-site smoke. We saw that yesterday as well. Zelsis to follow it up. But traded out, RPK gets Keo, and it's down to just 2 remaining again for Cloud9. AWP as well for automatic. He wants to go aggressive with it. He'll spot out the side of RPK. Easy shot to follow through, but now the op has to hold versus 2. And it's not like they both have to transition across the depth of the site. In fact, Alex could even jump across, get aggressive. Automatic's aware of it. He checks it. He finds Alex. He knows exactly where Alex is. He got Apex already. Alex finds the kill and gets away with it.
It is going to be a successful defuse as well. Comes right down to the 1 versus 1. Decent attempt there from Automatic. Had to go for the quick scope on the final shot. As soon as he misses that, Alex can take his time, calculate the shot, and defuse the bomb. He'll recover the AWP as well. It's been a decent tournament for Alex so far, and that's a huge round for them to pick up. It's going to be 4-4 as they fight back here. The money's still pretty decent on the CT side, but Cloud9 now reset. But the bomb was planted, so they want to try and answer back here, knowing the resources are low on the CT side and take a bit of a gamble here. They could force buy fully into this with Deagle armor, maybe 1 rifle, but they're going for the more conservative approach and maybe nading window, I'd imagine. They're going to smoke towards top of middle and then nade the window and try and take down Apex here, but he's already jumped out and delivering some HEs of his own. Oh my goodness! That's like 250 damage right there.
That's insane amount of damage. Everyone just got absolutely wrecked. They'll try for the mid boost. Automatic, he gets tagged in the window. He's down to 70. Apex certainly spotting them and knowing that they're inside of middle, just waiting for vision to go in his favor. Alex will be on the opposing side. He's got Zelsis. In fact, I say opposing side. He's way back on cat corner, so he's not inside of the ladder this time, but they are holding mid together, and it's working out extremely well. ZywOo has yet to put the op in that angle. Naturally, it's smoked a lot, so ops get countered quite easily in mid, but every now and then you still see teams throw it there just to catch them off.
I really don't like this in Vitality. When you know there's 2 players left, just got pistols only, maybe just chill, stop throwing money away. But they're going to win the round. It's only 1 frag, I suppose, but it could have been avoided. Could have just held up. They've got the bomb on the A side, don't have to find those frags, run the timer down, put the pressure on them. Kishima should be dealt with here, but now he's got the AUG. It all stemmed from that previous kill. Luckily, though, threat avoided. It's going to be 5-4 as Vitality take the lead once again. They've got the single AWP set up. We'll see if they want to try to double. I don't think we'll see it for a while yet. And this is the HE from Apex. Just one of them did that much damage. An absolute nuke delivered towards the top of middle. And we're going to see a Galil from Rush here. Feels like he needs a bit more utility. Does that suggest another set piece at the start of the round? We shall see. They seem to be like quite content in their initial approach and make a decision to start of the round, go with it. We've seen it a couple of times now as they look to be setting up some sort of a fake here. They smoke towards A from one player who's going to hold towards the Palace area and maybe try that fast piece split once again.
Apex has to be careful not to overcommit to that spray. Tracer's certainly a factor, and they didn't have the catwalk smoke, so it would have been easily to figure out exactly where he'd gone. Smoke's down on Cat now, though, deep rather than the high side. That allows Flushy to get on top of the fence. Clever little play, because they know Alex has been over there being a pest throughout the course of this half, and they don't get the shot onto him as a result of it. Not only that, they're so far up mid when they find it. It's now a 5-on-4 with map control.
Oh, the timing on this duel. MBK and Rush can't detect each other. Good smoke. He is pretty isolated on the A-bomb side. Rush waiting for a mistake to be made. Apex defensive as well. It's a 5-on-4, but the terrorists have no smokes now, just 1 Molotov. So it makes getting the bomb down very tricky. You want to group up as a 5 ideally here. MBK trying to reclaim some territory on the map. He gets in towards A ramp, so he's not vulnerable from the Palace. But ZywOo, he is now. He needs to be careful. He knows it as well.
I'll go back over toward A. NBK, off angle. Top of the pot.
If he gets multiple frags here, that's impressive. It's not an easy position to play.
They are going together. They got to be careful not to be too close together. They're almost going to line up. This could work out. Okay, smartly they stagger it. And he gets one, spraying in, has to go to the reload, so swaps to the pistol, expecting a counter peek, but a good flash nearly got him out, nearly. Rush caught him off instead as they got in through connector as well, and there was really nowhere to go, nowhere to fall back from. ZywOo's got to be careful, blinded, blocked by his teammate on the corner. He goes back out aggressively, and Rush finds him as well. The bomb does get planted, and RPK, blind will hold. He and Apex to pull it back, and Apex on the AWP. Might be worth him saving it. It's not exactly his most prominent weapon.
I think that's a fair call at this point. RPK with the AUG. They've got the AWP. And like we said, Cloud9 with no smokes there. Able to juke it out, especially taking down MBK and making sure they shoulder peek first. And yes, he did damage, got 1, but they managed to eventually get him and get that bomb planted. That's all they're waiting for. CT hunting for a bit of intel there. That position from MBK, yes, nice idea. If 1 player comes over, but 2 come through, it's unlikely to get more than that 1 frag. Certainly a gamble play either way, as Cloud9 tie things up 5-5, and 3 players survive here. It's going to be Apex, though, giving the orb back to ZywOo. They will buy around this and see what they can do. Maybe a time to chat, it seems, as they take the time out and work out if they want to go for an aggressive play. We haven't seen much from Vitality in that department on the CT side, playing pretty default rounds. They have been moving the AWP around in the form of ZywOo, but we haven't seen them go ultra aggressive or push a player towards underpass, for example, like that. So maybe they realize they have to change things up slightly. AWP goes to MBK for now. So it's discussing their options. See the coach getting stuck in as well. Trying to work out how they're going to set themselves up here. Where does the AWP go? Where are they likely to find a pick? What's the most common occurrence on their defaults? Where can he be dangerous? ZywOo, decent game from him so far. There's RPK up and down this tournament. A lot of ups. Good to see some strong performances from the tank. Cloud9 prepare themselves for round 11. AK's across the board again. No AWP for automatic this time.
Okay, backside of Firebox inside of the site will get one. They know where he is. And look at the Molotovs and a nade on that to force him out. But Alex, he'll come out on his own. He's willing. He steps up. Zelsis and Rush in the open, committing to the previous fight, get caught off immediately. And automatic back toward middle, now trying to pull the round together. Bombs down inside of the site, middle of the site, nowhere to really go with it. They've got to fight back, and they can't boost window because Keo, as we can see, is way over toward A main, so Otto's got very, very limited options.
Again, they had an objective at the start of the round, went with it, all 5 going through, and this time the AUG reigns supreme. It's just automatic. They can get 1 kill. They don't have to trade him out straight away. They've got the bomb. Look at that. They're smoked off now. They don't have to challenge him anymore. Automatic can't really do much here. We've got a nice position from RPK towards short, making sure he can't actually get towards that window. If he hears any sound cues at this point, he can swing wide, and automatic, I think he's baffled. He doesn't know if RPK's there. Well played from the CTs. Nice discipline. And yes, Cloud9 with the fast approach towards A once again, and this time Alex is the one that shuts him down. He currently sits on 11 kills at the top there with ZywOo. Automatic now fully resets, averaging about 2K per player. There is Flusher on $5,000 though, if they wanted to buy into this one. I doubt he probably dropped some pistols for them. He doesn't need a massive amount of cash. The Deagles, CZ's coming through. And you can see there's no smokes down map. There's no flashes in his way. There's no flames on his feet. Suggests Cloud9 just making calls at the start of the round and trying to get through some contact, surprise play, and didn't really work out for them that time. They know they've got the aim stars to make those sort of rounds work, but on that particular occasion, Alex, way too calm and comfortable.
Smoke to go off the wall and hold off bottom side of connector for Apex.
That smoke did not land where it wanted to.
Nope, but Alex still has window to cover. Oh, Apex flash in. Brilliant from Zelsis. Brilliant flash, you should say as well, from Flusha. Overall, great team play from Cloud9. So they are changing it up a little bit this game. So my criticism's about that. This game, more promise in it. They've shown that they've had to battle against not having economy, and they're still having a plan. You said it last round as well. Okay, sure, they got obliterated going into A, but at least they had a plan. It looked like they had a direction to them. They've got a direction right now with Flush's Deagle that could heal. Oh, it's a tough one. It's still a kill. It's a tough one to fire through the vent, and just a narrow headshot to find. You miss with the Deagle, and they know you're there. They turn on you. It's hard to follow it up, so he does well to get one and get away. Alex will swing back into the same position, but the advantage now with Cloud9, and Alex is spotted. Still has the range game advantage over automatic.
Close round here. Remember, Cloud9 don't have armor, so they are very vulnerable. Zelsis has managed to salvage an AUG, but positional control, not really their forte right now. As you can see, the bomb all the way back at T-spawn. So, bit of a nightmare for them. Have to recover with 20 seconds remaining. It's actually going to be touch and go if they can get it near a bomb. So I don't think there's even time to even get the plant in now. So they need to be very careful. That kill will go in favor of Alex once again. And indeed, there's no time to plant at this stage. Flusher, he actually wants to go die here. That might sound a little bit bizarre, but he wants to just jump in and be taken down. He no longer can plant. Just wanted to kill them. They're not going to let him.
They know it. Oh, RPK, I think he actually could have just waited. I don't think Flusha would have had a chance to spot him that quickly. So either way, look, a win's a win. Vitality will get it. True. 7th round. Just to note, Zelsis, okay, missed the shot on Alex that time. But I still don't think Flusha was going to get there either way. He sits on 10 kills, Zelsis. He's currently second to Flusha. He's looking pretty spectacular in this game. He was slow to get started. There was a lot of criticism. Played well in the Furia game, and map 3 specifically, when that was really the only map that was played between the two, when you had two 16-1s. But he's starting to impress. And again, I mentioned if they were, and they are going to miss the minor, they are a European core if they play with Golden. If he joins in, they're still North American. Where are they going to go with this? What's the situation? Unfortunately, it's not what they want to be in, and we do fear for Golden, and we hope he's doing well, and we wish him all the best. I'm sure he's watching right now. But if they are forced to make a decision, they could still swing toward him if he continues to perform like this.
Either way, he's putting himself in the shop window right now, showing what he's capable of at big events. It was a slow start, but actually proving himself to be a nice, calm player, a safe pair of hands, I usually say. He seems to be decent at recovering trades and making sure clutches are actually possible for them. He seems to understand the basic fundamentals, and I think he could develop into a wonderful player. We'll see. As this game continues, we can have more impact here. Vitality currently in the lead, 7-5 on the CT side of Mirage. And this default from Cloud9, we haven't seen Vitality have to change the pace at all. They're happy to sit back and just play usual setups here. As RPK does go down first, though. That is going to be the opening kill coming in from Kiyoshima, but quickly answered back. That's Flusher going down, normally lurking around the map, trying to backstab as the B-split comes through. It's Alex to be flashed, and what a flashbang it is. Surely he can't recover this situation. He will go down, and Apex does no better. This might be a save already. I think the CTs have already chosen to exit the situation. Nice basic approach from Cloud9. Flashed over at the perfect time as well. Just as their teammates coming up towards short, the flash goes in. They all pounce from both angles, short and the apartments. Alex to do nothing. Apex stuck behind the bench, and he'll be dealt with in a very similar manner. It's going to be Cloud9 getting their 6th round, and saving rifles here, one of which is Galil. I want to try and upgrade that if possible. There's an AUG on the ground, so there we go. Nice upgrade.
Certainly so, and back and forth we go again. 3 rounds, 1, 2, 1, 2, and this will be another 1 for Cloud9 to make it 7-6. They keep 4 up, as you say, they upgrade, they start to break and whittle into Vitality, and doing so on the T side. This is encouraging, this is an important game. I mean, Cloud9, if they go into 2-1, depending on how the rest of the seeding plays out, depending on how some of these other teams, there's already some teams that are in positions that they really shouldn't be at this point in time. Energy down on the bottom side, certainly that means they could face them if they advance through. It's not going to be an easy road for them, but they're putting themselves in a very good position to get into the best of 3s.
They have the individual skill to get there. They can be dangerous, but also tactically weak at times. We've seen the results. They don't get a good start. They don't get clutches going in their favor. It can all fall apart against those elite teams. But right now, this is actually pretty reasonable from Cloud9. They're up against a difficult purchase here from Vitality. That's why they're going for these sort of pushes. The fact they got MP9s here, the perfect flashbang comes through. MBK decides to stay and see whether he can get another one here. Not going to happen. Seems to be a common trend of Vitality. Get the opening pick and try to stay for a little bit more. Flusher somehow in the vent room again. And that's taken down by him once more.
That's one thing they've been exceptional at. Flusha either support flashing or getting position on catwalk, rushing up the round we saw him get on the fence and take down Alex. They've been very good at taking mid. Deep smokes, high smokes, flashes, they've used it all. That's the best teamwork we've seen from Cloud9 so far, is the mid Mirage.
It's always Flusher in that room, and they don't seem to suspect it each time. And he's hit the shot, he's caused the damage. They've got 1 minute remaining with 1 smoke within their utility. A couple of flashes. Apex has to get some positional control here. Holding the palace area at least eradicates the threat, and he can hold position for the plant and try and be a bit of a threat from the back.
I think he's going to go all the way through. And I don't know how I feel about that, because Palace can kind of be, for the CTs, the same as Pit. If you can get in there, you can hold the A site. You kind of are behind just by virtue of position. And RPK was already in the site. He could have had that information. They're rotating. And Apex hasn't spotted the main. He's going to go back now, but he's going to be alone on the flank, because Zaiwu and RPK are way over toward B.
He might have nailed this, though. The problem is he's got the FAMAS. He needs to be very careful. They have the orb in front of him, and he'll have to fire here. Denies the plant, not quite. It does go down, but he's done so much damage here. 2.5 kills for him. At least this in a winnable situation for the CTs, which will begin the retake at this point. They've got a smoke and incendiary. Flash has already been tagged, even more so now. After Zelsis with a flashbang, he'll have to go towards Connector and try and play the 2 versus 1.
He's going to try it. Flash over, Zaiwu already standing in position with the AWP. They get the retake, and that all starts with Apex. You're right. He did himself perfectly. Got him back in position. I thought maybe, even if he got 2, I wasn't sure they'd win it out, because they'd still have so much time on the rotations, but they got there. He'd done damage on the 3rd. And an important round. Zaiwu on the AWP. Gets 2 kills. He's up to 13 total, which is 2nd on team. But that was the end of their money, so that gives them the half, at least on 8 rounds.
My heart does bleed for Automatic. He was watching for the Palace flank for like 20 seconds. The moment they commit is when Apex actually comes out at the choke point, and then he sets himself up for the perfect flank. He even made a slight mistake. There was a little footstep there, but far enough away that the terrorist didn't hear it. And then he gets 2.5 kills. He hit the AUG there, definitely got all 3. But the FAMAS, that was great work. And it's the final round of the first half here. Cloud9 looking to get up towards shore once again. Apex actually slips off the fence. This could cost him his life. He's got to try and retreat. And I think he has done successfully. That's its Flusher once again. Surely can't get into another advantageous position as he gets himself up on the fence here. It's spotted, but only takes a little bit of damage there.
Apex swings in, does find Rush, who'd burrowed inside of Connector. ZywOo finds Automatic. So again, the lead to Vitality. Alex drops. He was on 14 kills. It's Flusha again. You're right. Toward this ladder room in mid, doing so much work and getting so much control for Cloud9. We'll see if they can exploit it again this time as well. Apex going to sit back more passively inside Connector. I thought he was going to hold. He goes out, and Keo is just waiting for him.
You would think Vitality, suffering those kills, run towards that middle position, they'd start maybe sending 3 players, CT mid, challenge and get a trade to shut that threat down. They're playing such default rounds here, which is fine. They're winning most of them, but if Flush is being such a nuisance, you could just present that a couple of rounds just to slow him down.
Yeah, either go aggressive with someone to the top mid, maybe bring ZywOo in and drop, go Guardian style. JW used to do it, check the underpass and then rotate back through Connector. There's options. MBK gets flushed down though. They still might have this round to close out the half. 24 seconds, they'll flash to ZywOo. He's clipped Zelsis, but not taking him down. It was through the edge of the box. He follows up though, Kiyoshima falls, and it's 34 HP for Zelsis against 3 with 14 seconds. I think the writing's on the wall.
I think you might be right. Zelsis doesn't stand much of a chance here. Didn't have the time or the HP, and it will be 9-6 in favor of a CT Vitality there in the first half of Mirage. They're looking up and about, but Cloud9 out of this one. Yeah, they got a decent start. They won the pistol, got the 3-0. Sure, they only got 3 after that, but it's enough. They're on the T side here, and we're going to switch things over. As we take a break, we'll conclude this game between Vitality and Cloud9.
IEM Katowice and the ESL Expo, undoubtedly one of the greatest esports and gaming spectacles in the entire world. There's so much going on. We've got so many games, Dota, Fortnite, etc. And we are absolutely thrilled that in 2019, we've got CSGO returning to its major status here in one of the spiritual homes, I have to say, one of the places that has the most history. There's history being made right now as well. Former major winners on both sides, Cloud9 and Vitality. They're playing a 1-1 game. It's a best of one to determine who takes the upper side of the bracket.
Cloud9 on their T side surely didn't win the half, but it's not as horrible as it's been in past situations. Their T side sometimes touch and go. This time on Mirage, they've actually got a chance of closing this one out. We'll see if they can win the pistol to kick things off. It is going to be Kiyashima to find the first headshot. He finds a scalp there of ZywOo. It's going to be a trade though, as MBK and the stream
well then
go down. I think we'll be back into the action. We've got a secondary one ready to go just in case CSGO decides.
Yeah, I think there's a couple actually. I think there's 4 or 5 at least.
But Zelsis has got himself in T spawn here. So 4 on 4. If they could buy some time for him to get this backstab going, this could be massive.
Bomb just has it. Bomb as well. He draws a lot of attention if his teammates can pounce on that opportunity at the bottom side of middle toward the window. They'll be all over Vitality. Another one for Zelsis on Apex. And NBK, he did at least get automatic to preserve his position at Delpane, as you referred to it as, but Zelsis on pistols. Sure, okay, it's the one ace, but still, it's something that's making a name for himself, and he's got 3 kills this round. It's just Alex to try and rotate back in for Vitality. He leads the way for their team at 15. He and ZywOo tied. In fact, he leads all fraggers on that total. Can he add to it? Can he make it more? Spot Zelsis, doesn't even matter. He's got 4.
Wow. What a play that is from Zelsis. So calm as well. That's one thing I've noticed. He doesn't look rattled by these big plays. He always plays efficiently in those situations, and his aim seems on point today as he manages to get all the way in T-spawn, right behind them, find the bomb first, allows him to set up. He knows he'll come back and try and fight him, and he hits absolutely everything here. This is the play. RPK suspects. You can see he had the gun out, ready to check behind, but then Zelsis hitting every single shot. They did challenge him one by one, to be fair. They could have waited and been a little bit more calculated with it, but Zelsis, phenomenal there. Really strong round. That's both pistols now in favor of Cloud9, and there won't be a force buy in response from Vitality, but they have got enough for PD50s and 5 smokes. I would suggest a B execution from what we can see so far. Try and get that bomb planted, but Zelsis has entered a little bit more here. He's going to do a little bit of damage there and just drop the smoke as they set up for their execution.
Yeah, tiny damage when you consider that he had the AUG firing at them. It could have been massive. They just didn't really walk around the corner and present themselves in quite the same way. Smart incendiary from Flusha. It's going to go deep enough. The 2 players stay forward. Did they extinguish it? There's a smoke there. I think they want to use that in the site if they would, could prefer, but it's not burning anyone, so they'll wait. They'll let it extinguish itself. Zelsis will spot one further, and NBK, he's got to be very careful with his ammo here. He's got to conserve it to some extent, because firing in as he does, he's got 2 bullets left, but he's found 2 kills. Bomb drop temporarily. Smokes will go on toward the arches. But a counter smoke inside of the apartments, and this should be the round for Cloud9. They've contained, they've controlled, and they've even rotated in behind them.
Zelsis gets 4 on the pistol, now on for an 8 at this stage. There's 2 players remaining. He's still in position. He wants it. He will have to settle with just 4 again, but that's 8 kills in 2 rounds, and it will be a very, very fortunate situation for Cloud9 to be in at this point. Remember, that wasn't a force buy from Vitality. They could purchase up AKs here, maybe expended a little bit too much cash in the previous round. You can see 3,400 on Apex. I still think it's worth it. Get these AKs out. There's 3 MP9s up against you as they decide their next move. Indeed, they will buy. Apex goes with the Galil instead. Allows them to get a smoke. And that's going to be a main problem here. It's the overall utility. If they have the smoke grenades at least, Molotovs are very beneficial on Mirage, but let us hold up in a default here and see if the CTs want to get aggressive with their MP9s like they are right now, and Rush makes it work. He actually gets that first kill, and MBK maybe could have waited a little bit longer to see who could be pushing, found himself in the open and giving away a rifle.
Flusha wants to play the close quarters. The MP9. Zelsis rotates back to B. Not sure as to how close or how advanced they are inside of the apartments. With that information, he immediately throws down defensive utility in the form of an incendiary, and that's due to in part the fact that the double smokes are already on the archway. But this time the double smokes on the arch, they're actually going to approach from Catwalk, so they'll swarm the site. They'll completely overwhelm Zelsis. He's got to be very careful because they're already beside him. He spots ZywOo, and no problem because Flush has already entered in. Apex turns it around. He gets 2. He gets both of the mentioned players. The 2 inside of the site. Smoke off far side quad. And a bomb plant. didn't see it. He looked toward Cat, wasn't sure if he'd spotted the player or not, and they had all the information as to where he was.
Well, more importantly, he gets the bomb planted there as the loss bonus gets to maximum after this round. At least they have a bye going forward. But yes, Cloud9 fended off once again. It's Zelsus finding multiple kills towards that B bomb site, and Apex left in a 3 versus 1. Not really much he could do there. Players surrounding him only had that Galil, and there will be around $4,000 per player on the T side now. But it is going to be 9-9. We're all tied up as Vitality work out what they're going to buy. I assume just AK, armor, 1 smoke again, but it's not ideal. You could just take the partial here and wait till you can get a nice strong buy and have everything you need. You know you're tactically stronger than Cloud9, but right now they're turning up in the fragging department. That's been the main issue. Zelsus looks incredibly deadly right now. He's really getting the zone. I'm sure he's really feeling it. This second half start, 4 kills in the first round, 4 kills in the second round, a couple there. He wants to keep going and applying that pressure. Playing the B bomb site seems to be a decent anchor. He might have scared them off at this point. They could focus their efforts towards A, knowing that Zelsus is playing so well right now on the B bomb site. As I take the time out, decide their options, and for reasons I mentioned before, there is a buy there, but it would be limited. You might be better off exactly doing this and just getting the pistols out and making sure you have the AWP on Zywu. You have all your utility and you can be tactically stronger instead of playing a very loose pick-style game.
Timeout finished, 9-9. Zelsus up to 19 kills. Again, 8 in 2 rounds. Very impressive to start at the half. Automatic. He'll get the op toward the window. No smoke down. We didn't see Zywu's op get there because there was a lot of smoke used from Cloud9. We thought maybe there was more they could have done. You mentioned it in the 14th round as to why they continued to try and just hold with 2 players. Zywu, Alex, Apex, all holding out inside of the horseshoe position, top mid, waiting to see if there'll be a push. There was a flash, suggestive perhaps of one.
When you know you have this sort of financial situation, you're not sure if they bought up or not, or there's chance they eco, you don't necessarily want to push. You're actually taking rifles to their doorstep instead of holding back in crossfires, making them work for it. So I like this from Cloud9. They've won both pistols here. Bit of luck on their side. Some great skill as well. And they've managed to convert the 3 rounds to tie things up. Zelsus been so strong, he misses the jump. That cost him his life there. Would have been on the ledge and could have bailed out. But it's up to Flasher now, who will be flashed as they commit fully towards the B bomb site. He might be in a lot of trouble here. Somehow survives, goes down to 2 HP.
He does. He does indeed. It's surprising that he gets away with that. Zelsus, you're absolutely right. Clipped the sill. What was that? Gone. Out of the round. Rush tries to spawn out toward the bench again. He'll hold that angle just to make sure that Alex can't re-peek. Catch on Keo, who knew he was there. He had RPK, found the kill on the pistol. Rush has to go aggressive. Alex follows that up. Stepping up again. Flush is still on 2. Automatic on an AWP. This makes the retake extremely challenging against 3 players, but he found the first one quite easily, quite quickly, and that might be Flush's cue, to get back in. The problem is that, Automatic can't really work his way inside of the site with the op and doesn't have the audacity to do so. They want to save the weapons.
Well, that couldn't have gone any better, as RPK will stay alive here somehow. He goes down the end, but his work is done. Remember, that's not a force buy from Vitality. That was a partial. They had CZs, Deagles, a little bit of utility and some body armor. They converted to a victory after the one mistake from Zelsus. He's been so good towards our B side. I suggest they might even focus towards A, but they challenged it again, this time getting fortunate with his misplay with the jump, and it's just that one decision to try and jump out the window that cost him his life. If he just made it successfully, he would have got away, got the information, dropped an incendiary on them, and they probably win the round. But that can be the difference, and that's why movement is often talked about as being a very important discipline within CSGO to practice that and making sure those mistakes are made, you can nail the movement mechanics. But either way, Vitality will take the lead now, 10-9 on their T side of Mirage. As we'll see the AWPs come out on either side. Zywu, 16 kills so far. It's going to be automatic up against him. Currently holding towards jungle, rotating towards the window side. Bomb down, top and middle. Flasher smokes off short as he's boosted up, wants to focus on the connector.
Backs off the cinders.
Yeah, Flash will dissuade him somewhat.
Apex, though, still attack toward connector. Smoke down, won't be able to get anyone through it. He's now got backup, so the fact that they did push him back in the corner, they start to take the mid control. Automatic, though, still managing to find a kill. Peek back out from window, and they were still just holding. And he's positioned so as to rotate quickly through the vent. He can get toward Checker. Zywu, Alex, and And RPK positioned inside of the apartment. ZywOo gets the opener on Flusha. Zellsis now has to rely on a perfect crossfire with Automatic, who smartly got there in time and found ZywOo. Off down, he checked the corner, but not far enough. That happens all too often. How are they going to consider Zellsis? They know he's the V player. They know he's got to be here somewhere. He still found one, but it gave himself up on a platter to RPK, who gets inside of the site. And NBK's picked up the bomb. He's got to hold this a while to do so. There's 23 seconds. They'll easily get the bomb in position to plant in time, but position to plant safely is another debate because Keo is still inside of the window, pushed off. RPK is going to hold it perfectly in the corner, and now it shouldn't be a problem to get the bomb down.
Really lovely play here from Vitality, but Rush pretty handy in these situations. Not quite enough, though. It's going to be RPK with 3 in the round. We said he's been decent in this tournament. Haven't really seen it in this particular map, but that's a massive bit of impact there. MBK taking all the attention away as he crosses, suggesting they've only just got towards the site, and then they don't even check the close quarter angles. It's RPK that devours those 3 kills, and it will go 11-9 in favor of the French here. Speaking of Frenchies, there's Kiyashima. Plays in this international squad now. He's currently set on 10 frags. Not his biggest game. Zellsis at the very top of 20 and 14. Great for him. We need to see some of those other names step up now, as they'll have to take a full eco here. USP's only. They're going to flash towards middle. Stack in towards Connect. As soon as the flash goes off, they'll all swing out and see what's available to them. But they need a Q first, something that suggests players are on the other side.
It does appear that this will be our last best of 1 in the major as well, because the B stream, spoiler alert, I don't know why you need those. All the games are going on at the same time. I'm sure you're busy, but are you really going to go back and watch it? Let's find out. It is NIP on 15 against Hellraisers on 5. So this one looks like it'll last a little bit longer, and NIP might get back to 2 and 1. Who on this side? We're not sure. Looks like it might be Vitality with each and every round as they get further and further ahead on the T side. And this one looks like it might be going their way as well, because even though they found a kill to catch off Apex, he found 2 beforehand, and ZywOo's just got a shooting gallery inside of mid.
Yeah, promising scenes there from ZywOo and Vitality as a whole. It was a nice day from Cloud9. Sometimes see success of those sort of approaches. Usually you'd have 2 players on short, 2 connector, Flash comes over and he challenged together. They actually focused all the players towards that connector position. They get 1 kill, maybe could have been more if they pincered it, but either way, it was a full eco. Vitality, though, with an increasing lead at this point, 12-9, as there's no AWP available for Automatic. As we mentioned, we didn't see much aggressive play on the city side from Vitality. I'm sure we'll see some from Cloud9, with players like Flusha on the team who want to get stuck in and be a nuisance. So no, Rush, 7-18. He's got a very high ceiling, but when he doesn't turn up, it's difficult to even spot him on the server.
Absolutely. NBK. Ooh, Rush. Didn't see him. He nearly had a chance to catch him with utility out. He goes for the re-peek, and NBK is ready at that point with the AK. Easy headshot. Flusha, though. He'll get 1 back as Apex runs directly toward him. Walks, I should say, but it's over toward B instead. And a boost on Cinders yet again. ZywOo, he walks off the edge of them, is trying to find the opener. They know now there's one toward the bench. He steps out, trades it, but losing Alex in the process. We're still at 3 aside.
Well, the bomb plant will come through. It's ZywOo to set it up. He's got a smoke. They've got 2 Molotovs as well. And remember, no kits on the CT side. This will be a difficult retake. With the utility being deployed now, allows Vitality to reposition. RPK, same spot he found success in before. MBK watches the flanks. And ZywOo, with the AWP, ready to pick them off. Anyone it challenges. Actually goes to the AK. So wants to be a little bit more nimble here. CT's running out of time with that 10-second defuse. So they might just be looking for exits at this stage. Smoking off, trying to lock them in. Automatic. Accepted the round's gone, but got to try and keep 3 weapons up there.
Okay, backing off to go exit toward Cat. That's where Flusha waits. So that's what they want, the exit kills. They've got all 3 approaches, or all 3 exit points, I should say, covered. Bomb to detonate. 1 goes down, MBK. They're softened up by the blast as well, but Flusha doesn't want to overextend and give away his gun either. Keo has the other angle just in case, but that's the way it ends. 2 alive on Vitality, with 13 rounds now, as Cloud9 started this half with the pistol, and subsequently the first gun round with the defuse, now falling behind the mark.
Yeah, they've won both half pistols. They've 3-0'd both of them as well, but they're 13-9 down. The gun rounds have been the main issue here as they continue to struggle. Round 23, MP9 has to come out. Do we see any mixture of play here? It looks like a very standard setup. 1 middle, 2 B, 2 holding A. They have got kits this time and a little bit more utility in the smoke department, but it looks like we've got 4 players on the Vitality side. one of which is in the Palace. That's going to be Apex. Very good at cracking up a bomb site. Smoke commitment coming through. They're going to go off this as well. Knowing the money's not fantastic on the CT side, but applying pressure. The rush is burning to a crisp there. He has to sit in this smoke at this stage and try and pull some frags back here. Can he get the double? Not quite, but damage inflicted.
Damage inflicted indeed. And the nades doing a little bit more onto NBK as well. Keo steps wide of the smoke because he's trying to support Rush. They can't let him get overwhelmed inside of the site because not yet do they have anyone towards CT. In fact, they're likely not to. They're going to push out mid. Good find from Zelsis on B. That confirms no one else is on that side of the map. And with the mid push from Flusha, he's taking everything he can. He is really trying to push the limit here for Cloud9. He's got all the information. They can't go back the other direction as well. So now Keo rotates to CT. They fortify a pretty standard default, the triangulation inside of the A site to defend it. And they've got the rest of the map cordoned off.
Yeah. Well observed map. You can see they're absolutely locked in. Nothing that can really be done, and they're going to have to fight their way out. So far, so good. Apex at least brings it back to what I'd call a winnable situation, but Flush's positioning should win the round hands down. And you'll see him take MBK, low HP. That's enough. He's happy with that. Wants to focus on the bigger picture and save money. He knows they've got no time to go back towards B now, so he might as well bail out of the situation and force them back in towards A.
He's even going to do one better because Zelsis is already in connector for him. He just waited long enough to confirm that if they peeked him, he's gone. And he'll go back into the same position. It is going to be a save, though, so he may not anticipate that Zywoo is going to wait.
They're going to push off this time.
They could. I don't know if they'll find Apex and Palace.
They'll flash over, surely, and go for this.
Rush checks it. Keo does get Apex. I didn't think they were going to go that far. Zywoo saves one to stay alive, but you're right. After the time, the op gone. Brilliant play from Cloud9.
Yeah, that's a perfect round. Textbook Counter-Strike there. They get an advantage, they get some decent map control, and Flusha is so disciplined. A lot of players would be tempted to keep pushing after that frag, go for the glory play. He gets it in the end, but it's because he ran the clock down so low, made them uncomfortable, and look at the result. He manages to deny money on a player there right at the end. That's such a massive deal, and Vitality will take a timeout here after 4 players survive on the Cloud9 side. We'll continue into the next round, number 24 here. There is enough cash to get somewhat of a buy here, but that one player not getting anything if you die after the round timer expires and trying to save a weapon, you need to make sure you hold on to it because you get no extra cash. So Alex and 2,500 before you invest anything here. So they're working out with their players. Zywoo has enough to drop a weapon, but he's the AWPer. You don't necessarily want him draining his funds, helping others out. There's automatic, highest ranked player. Zelsis 23 kills though. What a great job he's doing. He's quite selfless as well. Whenever one of the players has to be down to a lesser weapon, it seems to be in his hands. Happy to do it. More of a support role in that respect on the CT side, anchoring bomb sites. As here was what we expected. Cloud9 more than happy to get in these sort of crossfires. Flusha watching underpass, automatic. Another teammate watching towards top and middle. It's a nice crossfire, and they can actually be quite dynamic off this. If they feel pressure towards top and middle, Flush can be flashed in and actually have the surprise pick. But for now, just holding up and seeing if anyone peeks from the underpass.
Apex working his way up with the Deagle. That Flush is already in mid, though. He's done for. He's got to be a little careful, Flusha, behind him. It's pretty bold he holds that position because he's relying on automatic to have the vision of top mid, but that's been changed and eradicated by a single flash. He is able to spot back out and get the trade onto NBK. Keo side of connector and 13-11. Cloud9 turning it around. And this is where I have to... I'm not going to eat my words because there's truth to the fact that they lost so many one-sided games, but I will give credit. Today, they look like they're adapting in the middle of the game.
Absolutely. Their setups are on point. They're dropping them at the right times. They've got good communication on the pincers. They're getting lots of map control and suffocating their opposition and making them move into unfavorable situations. It's very impressive. Automatic looks like he's really coming online at this point as well. Nice moves with the AUG. Has to be the partial buy once again as Cloud9 close the gap, 13-11 overall, and Flusha continues his rampage towards middle. The flash coming in from his teammates here, and he will push a little bit further by the looks of things. 4 players on the other side, AK in hand. Flusha wants to cause damage here as the final commitment. Will be able to open things up. He wants a bit more than 2. He's going for 3. He will be shut down eventually by RPK, but at least they've got information. Hasn't given the rifle up just yet. Automatic can watch that with the AWP.
Keo, though, free-peeking at Apex with nowhere to go. He finds him yet again. Those two have been at each other's throats the entire game. As RPK finds himself lonely. 2 feet and a heartbeat. Not 6 feet underground yet, but he's going to be lonely. Sometimes that's worse. Rush will take him down, and it's 13-12.
Well, there it is. Vitality shut down. And just having that aggression to start the round, you know it's against pistols, but you've kind of put the fear of doubt in their minds now. They might be thinking, well, if the CT's push now, we have to use more utility at the start, hold up much slower, wait for that presence to be shown. So just the fact he's shown on a round like that will keep them guessing as to what your plans are going forward. He could drop it again. The unexpected move. We'll see which way they want to approach this one, though. It's going to be 13-12 as Cloud9 look pretty up and about here in the second half. Much better than what I was expecting. No orb on the T side, but double orbs for Cloud9. Zelsis will be using the orb as a turret towards the B bomb site with automatic, being a little bit more dynamic here as NBK waits for aggression. They have got mid control on the T side. That's been given away at this point. Looks like an A split potentially, but not going to be committing anytime soon.
Daewoo holding out with the AK-47. Molotov already down inside a window. Apex wants to work out from underpass. Vitality desperate to take back control of this game. It's now 3 in a row for Cloud9, and they've got money built up as well.
They really have. It's
not a ton of money, but it's enough.
It's enough there, but the way they're playing right now, I feel like they're so focused on winning these rounds. It's looking so efficient as they get closer and closer towards Connector. Here comes the smoke from MBK.
It's good fundamentals, the way they're doing it as well. I mean, even this round where they're giving up Connector, it's not like they're being segregated by smokes. There's 3 in the A site directly, so they've got angles, and they've got ability to trade off of each other, play the position exactly that. Keo steps out to find RPK, Rush waiting underneath the shadow. They never expected him to be there, and he follows it up. It's Apex and MBK, left in a 2-on-4. Apex is in the open. Found one, but nowhere to go. Again, they're just very proficient on the trades right now on the Cloud9 side.
Yeah, this is like a different team now. So efficient, not making any mistakes, is running that timer down. MBK is looking for an opening, but he won't find it. He gets Keo from the grave at least, but that's all they'll find. No plan, and the maximum loss bonus will only get them so far. That's going to be initiated next round. For now, they've only got 3K after losing 3 in a row, and that's going to be 13-13. Plenty of catch for Cloud9. If they weren't established before, they should be after this one. I don't think they recovered the secondary orb, so they'll just be on, I say just 4 rifles in the AWP up against the Deagles of Vitality. There's Kiyoshima, looking very proficient. Rush had some nice shots in that round as well. Good work for the Incendiary to hold them off, allow his teammates to rotate in without risking his own life as well. Got the kill, happy with it. Not having his strongest game, but his numbers starting to improve now at 12 and 20. So Armor, Deagles, 1 smoke. Best option would be smoke short of B or CT spawn on A. Try and get in together. If you had a flash, that'd be a lot more beneficial, but that smoke's already been deployed. And we'll see which way they decide to head. It looks like just a very basic approach. Wait for CTs to make a mistake. They got a boost up here towards the window and see if anyone's available to them. That's Cloud9. As we've already complimented, playing a very strong CT half here. Aggression when needed, passive when required. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Just running that clock down, seeing what they're up against. And they've noticed the pistols. No one's overcommitting. They're making sure they win this round, because you lose one of these now, really take the wind out of your sails. You'll be able to buy again, but just losing the pistols, get everyone bickering and asking what happened. So they just want to make sure they're playing off each other and not giving rifles away.
So far, that's gone well. Keo, though, is slightly isolated inside of Connector. He'll back away just to make sure that if they push through the smoke, they don't pre-fire his position. Sprays just to ensure that they're not standing there waiting to do so with a flashbang.
Ooh, bit of damage that.
I don't know where that came from.
Palace, I believe.
I think, yeah, NBK. I was going to say on the map. It's the only place that makes any sense. Did that come through the wooden wall? So they absolutely putting pressure onto him, and they'll eventually take him down. Automatic with a miss. This is exactly what they can't afford, because Apex now runs in to find Rush. You said losing the pistols would start bickering. Automatic backing away at least gets one before they get all the way inside of the site, but they'll still plant the bomb. Now 4 alive in the post plant. NBK, fantastic deagle from range. Flush has got to do it all. He's found 2 already. Apex standing in behind triple. And Alex to work with him. Those 2 together have combined for most of the work, at least in the first half for Vitality. Certainly part of the second as well, but Flush has outdone Apex. He's snuck behind him. He has no idea he's even crossed out from CT. And he'll know that this is toward Connector. AUG scope is going to be a benefit. He can hold it down while looking, and as he peeks out, he's going to hold the viewers all the way through. He had it, but he still got off and still found the headshot. There's still time. Flusha wins it back. Legendary as always. He'll find 14 for Cloud9 and bails them out.
1 versus 4. Flusha turns up in style. That is absolutely massive. Just when it looked like it was not recoverable, he makes the perfect play. He's so sneaky. He was backstabbing them almost every single round in the first half, and now plays it perfectly here. He couldn't have done better. That second shot to RPK was absolutely sensational. goes to the full defuse and thinks better of it, and of course nails it. Timing absolutely spot on. Ice cold as he closes out round number 27. It's 14-13. Cloud9 are in the lead now. flusha, 26 kills. He is top of the server at this point. That was a world-class play, Matt. Really, really well done.
So stellar as well. He wanted to hold that bomb. He really did.
I thought it was done. As soon as they had, like, what, less than a second on it, I thought you might as well commit now. You're pretty much there. But gets off it, nails the shot.
He was like holding mouse 1 and just let go of the boot bomb, and it was just like, boom, auto Q, like done.
It's a perfect headshot as well. If he misses that shot, it's over. But, of course, it's flusha. He nails it. I love the 1-0 back. Orgs as well. ZywOo looking for the pick early. He knows they've had presence towards these.
And what a situation to have the AUG, right? That miniscope. And that's a lot harder. Fantastic speed from ZywOo. He absolutely nails Rush. Keo underneath it. Shadow RPK is going to take him down. Remember, with pistols, they overwhelmed the A site last time. It's automatic. It was a little bit more efficient so far with his aim to start off this round. Last time it was 3 misses. They got inside to plant. This time he'll find 1. Peeks out. Does damage to Alex, but ZywOo gets position on him as a result. They didn't have the smoke to go CT. They had to do it with battle and aggression. Celsius finds 1, fully blind. Apex had a chance to peek that, but elected not to.
Good smoke actually puts Apex in a difficult position. He's going to sit in the smoke now. Celsius, is he going to come out on top?
Oh, he's gone through. Apex with the flash thought he'd outdone him, but that was the exact moment that he went in. Apex was looking the other direction. He couldn't see it. Apex might get the backstab, though. He might turn it around and realize his situation, nearly missing out of the shots. It's flusha again for Cloud9 that has to hold it together, and this time the bomb too far gone. He just wants to do economic damage. 14-14.
Apex, it looked like he'd been bested in that situation. The smoke was perfect. It got him out of position, but he just sits in there. Waits for Celsius. And the bomb time up to get to quite a rapid pace before he makes his move, comes out, finds 1. He could definitely afford to swing on the second as well. The bomb was going off no matter what. And it looked like it was a play that could cost him his life, but ultimately they win the round. ZywOo with a great shot to open things up. Took down automatic and spawn as well. Not the flashiest frags, but certainly high impact, as now it's 14-14. Cloud9 have been reset. It's a tug of war here in the economic battle, but they've got, on average, around $2,000. There's one anomaly in the form of flusha. He's got 4,500. They need to decide now. They're taking the full eco, allowing Vitality to get the map and indeed match points, or go for it and see if they can somehow get across the finish line first. But I feel like you might just have to take the eco at this stage.
And flusha gets that 4,500 due to the fact that he won in a spectacular 1 versus 4. But that round has consequences because that's where they lost 4 players. Reinvest, lose the next one, broken. Vitality can get map point. If this goes to overtime, I just want to point out, let's just pretend for a second that Vitality go to overtime again and lose. They go down to 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They would have been rounds away in 2 occasions of not only being 2-0,
yeah,
but 2-1. I mean, that's just how close this tournament's going to be for some of these teams.
They had 2 match points yesterday against Na'Vi. They couldn't be closed out. Will this be similar scenes? Cloud9 have force bought into it. I can confirm that. 2 MP9s. flusha, who had the extra cash, he gets the AUG out. Up against the pistols here. What is the play? As we enter round number 29. Apex already towards the underpass. No damage done on either side. ZywOo, of course, Vitality have a full buy here, including the AWP. They have such an advantage. If they win this round, Matt, that will be GG. There'll be nothing but pistols and SMGs again. If Cloud9 give this round up, such a gamble, and that smoke is missed. I can't believe I'm seeing that. It wasn't even a proper line of smoke. That should be a relatively easy procedure, but either way, continuing their way up towards short. And who will be waiting on the other side? Automatic in the ladder room of flusha. They are walking into the trap right now.
They didn't check it all either. They didn't check it all. Automatic, he's going to go out early. He doesn't wait for them to commit. He doesn't try and backstab like we saw Alex do in the first half. Instead, he goes aggressive. He finds 1, wants the gun. He'll manage to pick it up. There was a nade beside it, which is sometimes causes a bug when you want to use the use key. He takes no mistake to pick it up the second time. It's Rush to get back on Alex, and he's going to have to do it all. They lost the player already, automatic, inside of ladder, and it's a 3-on-1 to get Vitality at map point. Rush, try to force the issue off the van so he gets an entrance point from the door. Try and shuffle them over to the right. Spots a second, but still it all to do. And no kit, keep in mind. Bomb, it's halfway through its duration. He gets the first. They still have the high ground inside of the balcony. That's going to be the problem for Rush. Even if he gets a second follow-up kill, RPK's gone so far back down the hallway that he can control the peak on what will be a 10-second defuse, and frankly, we're not getting that far. This is map point for Vitality. Rush can do nothing to stop it.
Decent effort I like the idea with the Orc presence towards shore and then automatic ready with the backstab there. If Flusher gets one of those kills, it could have been enough potentially. Luckily, Rush does save an AK. It means there is a slight chance they can do this. But as I mentioned, if they gave that round up and the majority of their manpower went down, they've got $2,000 per player now, and it's 15-14 in favor of Vitality on the T side of Mirage. You need to take a timeout here. You are going to be buying. It's just what will you purchase? So they've got enough to drop at least an AUG. So they'll have 2 rifles here. Automatic and Rush wielding them at the moment.
First time we've heard different timeout music.
It's cool. It adds some tension, doesn't it?
It does. But at the same time, changes nothing for the players. They're dead focused on this situation as Vitality want to close this out. Cloud9 looked like they'd done enough. Again, 5 rounds in a row. They won the opening 3 of the half. That was with economic advantage, if you will. Sure, got the first gun round on a defuse. 4 went against them, and then they pulled it back. They pulled it back was the key as well, because that's what they failed to do in many other games so far in this event. Flush has done so much work in this second half.
There he is. Pressure applied at this point. They've got to dig deep for anything.
Let's go back, by the way, to this event last year. Flusha still on Fnatic, trying to go the distance in the finals, and he gets 2 aces. It was on this stage in the Spodek. We're not quite to that part of this event yet, but is this where he replicates that? Is this where he has to go massive again for Cloud9?
He's going to have to. Or someone's going to deliver as Vitality go with the contact play here. Flashes are good. CTs have information. They're not taking any casualties just yet.
Deagle in position. Tried to go for it, but MBK beat him to the punch. As Rush with one of the 2 rifles sits back. Smoke's going to go mid-site, so they'll try and rush the plant. Flashes as well, and they're going to jump across. Flashes rather than Smokes on top of the stairs because they wanted to rush down the 2 players. It didn't work. Rush got away on 4 HP. He can give the gun to Kiyoshima, which is exactly what he's done. The Molotov forces him out, but it's still 3 players up. Despite that Rush goes down, the job was done for him. One of the 2 had the pistol. He gives the gun up. They still have the AK to work with. An automatic is in a spectacular position inside of Palace. NBK is going to be so weak on top of the site, but Apex shuts it down. Apex shows off why he is a legend, and Kiyoshima falls. Vitality go 2-1.
You can see what it means to the boys there. A great performance. Cloud9 certainly brought their A-game to the server today. Both teams playing very well. Their aim was off the charts. So many great individual moments, but it's Vitality that edged the win right at the finish line there. 16-14, Cloud9. You got to appreciate the skill they brought out today. Yes, they won both pistols, but towards the end on that CT side, it all came together, but it wasn't quite enough. Apex and Co close it out with 3 rounds in a row. And it's going to be gutting for Cloud9 to get that far and go down 1-2 now. This is where the pressure really is applied. They have 1 life left.
1 life left. They enter best of 3s. We'll see what the depth brings for Cloud9. They had 1 best of 3 in the last event against Furia that went rather bizarrely 3 maps with 2 16-1s in it. Vitality, very important. This is improvement. Coming into this, you said it. It's been a slow burner, that this project wasn't going the way that they expected. Talking with Vitality's owners and organization, they knew this was going to take time to build it into. They knew that they were picking up scraps in the French scene, but they thought they had fundamentals. We're starting to see that build now as they get to a 2-1 position and a chance maybe to sneak in to the top 8.
Well, there we have it. It will be Vitality going through 2-1. We have Alex on stage, ready for an interview.
Alex, what a close finish there. How was that game for you?
Very tough. I'm not sure how it got that tight because we were far ahead and we were in control, but they played well, and yeah.
Do you think there was anything in particular that let them catch up with you?
I don't know, really. It's too fresh. I'd have to watch the game to tell you.
Well, let's go back in time then, Alex, because when I first saw you play at Challenger, your aim was slightly off in those initial first games. You looked incredibly nervous, and now you are one of the top players on this team. So what do you think's changed since that stage?
My resolution in game? No, just feeling more comfortable with the team day after day. We keep talking every day, changing things, making sure that everything's on point, and yeah, just being able to focus on myself.
And how did you reset after last night's devastating loss against Na'Vi? Again, on Mirage as well, you guys keep playing this map. It's done you well. It's done you, well, serious sadness. And I saw MBK. He looked absolutely gutted after last night. So how did you bring it back?
It's quite funny because the game was really tight, but we didn't play at all as we're supposed to play. So we had a long talk after that. And coming into today, we wanted to make sure everything was on point. And thankfully we won, so yeah.
or next time maybe you'll have a Na'Vi rematch, and we'll see you potentially edge them this time. Let's head back to the desk, because I'm really interested to see what the guys have got to say about that one.
Oh yes, there will be many words exchanged about this affair right here. 16-14 being that score line that did in fact seal the deal here for Vitality. A very scrappy fair all around. We're seeing all the shots land, and we're seeing a lot of big individual performances here in what was a very back and forth battle.
I think if you actually look at this game from like a strategic point of view and look at both teams' T sides, you can see Cloud9, they just spread pick, applied a lot of pressure that way, but they were only able to pick up 3 gun rounds off the basis of that, where if you look at the way that Vitality approached their T side, lots of like half buy or slight upgrade strategies where they were able to get executes and make things very dangerous. And when you have that kind of approach, one of those is going to work eventually. And that round 19, which got them onto a 4-round spread, that was a fantastic point there to get Vitality. At that point, it felt like the game should have been won for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I take a great amount of stock in Vitality. I think they played not a great game here. I think Saivu had a lot of impact in this one. I think he got 8 entry frags in this game, 3 of them in the last 4 rounds, so he was very impactful, especially with the AVP play. But the fact that Vitality, as you said, wasn't able to get away with this game much easier is both a good and a bad sign for me, because I think Vitality was much better